started my Toastmasters journey in 2016, and 2 months ago, I completed my Distinguished Toastmasters. In my area, there are three clubs: Lahore Toastmasters Club, Crescent Toastmasters Club, and Century Paper Toastmasters Club. All these clubs are very enthusiastic, motivated, and they are aiming to the highest recognition this year, inshallah. And as an area, I'm also aiming to achieve the president's distinguished status, inshallah. And it means that all the clubs in my area have to be distinguished, and I have to add at least one club. So this is my introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Area Director Nadeem. Next, we have Area Director Farooq Siddiqui. Please introduce yourself. Area Director Farooq, are you there? Okay, we go on to Area Director Kashif Saigal. Please introduce yourself, preferably in 1 minute or less.
Good morning, everyone, and assalamu alaikum. This is Kashif Sahgal, Area Director A8. I am based currently in Peshawar, and the clubs in my area are CA Toastmasters Club Peshawar, ICMAP Toastmasters Club Islamabad, and E-Mamba Toastmasters Club that is also based in Islamabad. As discussed yesterday, we have got huge plans for the year to come. I believe we should be good to achieve at least distinguished or select distinguished status for most of the clubs. We also have plans for growth. We are aiming for to add at least 2 more clubs, and we're already working on some of that. And hopefully we will achieve that with the will of God. Apart from that, I'm a chartered accountant by profession and Toastmaster by passion, as they say. Thank you so much. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Talha.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Area Director Kashif. Now I believe we should start the session. And today, this is our first ever Area and Division Director training. And it is my pleasure to welcome you all and thank you for participating and thank you for joining us today. And okay, I'm having some trouble with my camera, but it doesn't matter. I'll fix it. So today the focus of the training is actually the area and division directors. But I welcome each and every one of you to this training because someday, even if you're a member right now, someday you aspire to be an executive committee member. If you're an executive committee member, you should have an aspiration for area leadership, for division leadership, for district leadership, and one day even beyond the district leadership. So I thank you all once again for joining, and I hand over the charge now to our Master of Ceremonies, Area Director, Area 3, Toastmaster Fahad Ahmed Hashmi, and I request you to introduce yourself and then open the proceedings from. Over to you, Toastmaster Fahad.
Thank you, DTM Talha bin Ahmed. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning, my fellow Toastmasters. A very happy Sunday morning to all of you. These trainings will, make you get up early in the morning and be here on your laptop with us. Okay. So I'll be the master of the ceremony, your host for today's training, the district officers training. But before that, as part of the procedure, let me introduce myself to you as the area director of Area 3. We are based in Karachi. I have 3 clubs in my area: CA Toastmasters Club Karachi and Hub Toastmasters Club, and the one and the only Urdu club of our district, Husn Khitabat Toastmasters Club. In yesterday's COT, we presented some salient features of our club success plans, and all the clubs in our area, they're working their best to be the best, inshallah. So it cannot be more precise than this. So before we start off with the session formally, I would like to take a start from a brief recitation from the Holy Quran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أحوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى.
All right, just a quick check if you can see me and if you can hear me well. Good check from everyone. Okay, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Okay, so I would like to officially welcome you all at this district officers training today. Yes, it's Sunday morning, I said. You must be feeling sleepy. This is the only holiday that most of us get. But yes, this training is going to be really an interesting one. And I'm sure whatever the objectives are, all the trainings of the Toastmasters Council, we all need to know one another very well, because the more we know each of us, the better coordination will be there, and we'll be able to take our district to great heights. So these agenda items or the objectives of any training, they're there. Yes, we are going to learn some technical things as well, but let me tell you again, let me assure you once again that the underlying objective is to know each other and to have a good networking and coordination with each other. So in order to wake you up and make you feel even more fresh, what I have planned is to say a national anthem before we move on. And it's only 2 days that we have had celebrated our Independence Day, so we must be feeling patriotic up till now. So let's devote some time for the national anthem. I would request all of you to stand in your own places. I'll play the national anthem and we'll sing together. Okay, so this pandemic has changed the dynamics of the world altogether, and so that of the Toastmasters. We never imagined to hold online meetings for a period of now 6 months. So, but this pandemic brought us a lot of problems, but at the same time, it gave us a lot of opportunities. And I'm glad in sharing that through the online meetings, through conducting the entire Toastmasters program online, we were able to connect with each other very well. People sitting at distant places, they were able to join the meetings of other clubs in other provinces, in other cities. And that was the great opportunity for all of us, which we couldn't have imagined if we would be having physical meetings, because it's practically not possible for us to move from one place to another. And so are these trainings that we're having these days. If we would be having physical trainings, either it would have been both the divisions separately, or if you would have it as a single unit, then most of us might not have been able to attend. But since everything is online, this pandemic and these online meetings have given us this opportunity to be together at the same time and enjoy being the member of the Toastmasters family. So without wasting a moment, since our time is precious today, without wasting a moment, I would like to move on, and I would like to call upon our program quality director, a very dedicated one, no doubt, Toastmaster, DTM, distinguished Toastmaster Tala bin Hamid, to please join us and give an official welcome note to all of us so that we can proceed. Over to you, Tala.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies and Area Director Fahad Hashmi. So I've already officially made my welcome, so I won't take up much of your time. Instead, what I'll do is we'll move on to the first segment of the meeting, but before that, there has been some scheduling changes in terms of presenters. One of our presenters, CGT Malik Mohammed Umair, has to be away due to some family emergency. So instead, he was supposed to deliver two sessions today. One was on club sponsors, mentors, and coaches, and the other was on youth leadership and speechcraft. So I will be delivering the club sponsors, mentors, and coaches, and our district director Zunair will be delivering the youth leadership speechcraft session. Other than that, there are absolutely no changes, and it is my honor and a pleasure to welcome a very dear friend, a very dedicated Toastmaster, a very talented person, and above all, a very hardworking person. Our immediate past program quality director, DTM Zaid Kalia, who will be presenting a session on the district recognition program. So the session will be 30 minutes and I'll be timing it. I'll be alerting the speaker privately. Meanwhile, I'll try to set up the timer in Zoom, but even if I can't, I'll be timing it separately. So over to you, DTM Zaid Kalia. Please put your hands together.
Thank you, DTM Tala bin Hamid. I would request if you can allow me to share my presentation.
Yeah.
Okay. Please confirm if you can see my presentation and my voice is audible.
Yes.
Yes.
Both.
Okay. So my voice is a little bit low because I didn't have a time to have a breakfast, and I thought that there will be a breakfast served by PQD and existing district leadership. The topic of my presentation is District Recognition Program. Before starting this presentation, I would like all of you to come with me and we can go to 330 BC, the Battle of Arbela. There were two armies. One was led by Persian king and another was led by Alex. So Alex has an army of 50,000 people and Persian king has 200,000 people. And both are highly equipped armies. Alex has one ambition to conquer the world. We all know there are many people in this world who have this ambition to conquer the world, and most of them didn't succeed. But they die in conquering, in pursuit of their ambition. So few of them conquered the world, but many of them tried and they die in the path of their pursuit. So what happens that Persian king captured few soldiers of Alex's army. They tortured them and they beaten them so that they can know the secret, what is the plan of Alex's army. The soldiers who were captured narrated that Alex has planned to attack in night. So Persian king ordered all his army and placed all his uh, people alert that there's a danger of attack in night. So they were all awake. On the other hand, Alex ordered his army to go to sleep, except for few hundred people. He took them and gave them a target to attack Persian army from different angles and different parts. So Persian army thought that Alex's army has attacked and they were awake. What happened next day? In the morning, when sun was arising and day was starting, Alex's army was fresh and his enemy was tired because they have spent their whole night in anticipation of attacks, and there were few attacks on different parts of their army. So Alex has one thing in his mind, that I cannot beat Persian king, but if I succeed in getting them flee from the battlefield, I will succeed. This is the only way. So he made his way to the Persian king, put the pressure from all sides, and let Persian king ran away from the battlefield. So Persian army was like different tribes, and when they saw their king is leaving them behind in the battlefield, their commanders also jumped on their horses and left the battlefield. And the result was victory for Alex. So in 3030 BC, Alex, who is commonly known as Alexander the Great, who defeated Persian army. So one main reason for winning this battle was clarity of goals, clarity what Alex need to do. So his big vision was to conquer the world, but the short-term target was to beat Persian army. So if we are clear what we want to do, which path we want to select. So if vision is clear, we can select different paths and we can achieve our target. So district recognition program is the path, or you can say it is the vision. And the path will also, I will define the path, how we can achieve our vision in this district recognition program. But the thing which we need to do, we need to be clear on our goals, what we have to achieve. Because in this district recognition program, there are many goals. So you can opt for any one, but as a team, we need to decide which is the best for our district. So since it is the second year, we need to aim high. This is my introduction. You all know me. If you want to connect with me, this presentation will be sent to you and you will get connected with me. So I would like to ask, so see whether you are awake or I'm successful in getting you sleep. So are you awake or not? So let's hear from you, if you can send the message in the chat box, or you can say something, because it's area directors and division directors training. You can open up your mic and you can contribute. So what is the biggest achievement of our district in 1920? So let me see. So we are there. But what is the biggest achievement? I think you can contribute by saying or something. What was the biggest achievement of our district?
President distinguished.
Yes, Imran, you said President Distinguished. Anyone else?
It's Medley Award.
Okay, Zabardast. Wonderful. It is the right answer. We achieved Summitly Distinguished Award in our first year. The thing is that it was because we all worked together and we didn't aim for this award in the beginning, but as we learned about this award and we saw the opportunity and we all worked together, we achieved this award. So this is the biggest award which a district can achieve in any education program here. So next question is, how many districts achieved Summitly Distinguished Award in year 2018 and 19? Watch the year. There's a catch in here. Anyone?
We
Any
were not,
wild? Sorry?
we were under district.
So we were not district, but the question is how many districts have achieved this award in 1819?
18.
So
3.
you are
None.
none or 18. Any other?
3.
3. Any guess? Sorry. Okay. So the answer is 15. Only 15 districts were able to achieve Summitly Distinguished Award in year 2018-19. So you can see that it is a moment of pride if some district in the first year achieved this award. So now my next question related to this. How many districts achieved Summitly Distinguished in year 1920? Any wild guess?
5.
5. Anyone else?
10.
10. Okay,
3.
3. So the answer is 6. Only 6 districts were able to achieve similarly distinguished in year 1920. So number has dropped due to pandemic, due to online meeting. There were difficulties in getting renewals and other difficulties and challenges. But if you see both years, so the number is not very high. If you only 10 to 15% or 6 to 15% districts are able to achieve this award. So what choice we have in the next year, which will be our second year as a territorial council or a district, what choice we have to pursue. So this is the list of 6 districts. You can Google it, what are the names of the district, so that you can know who are our competitors. So to know our competition is also important, because I will let you know what is the importance of knowing our competition. So we don't have any other choice but to pursue summitly distinguished status this year. And with the lot of energy you have, the passion our members have, leaders have, we will be able to achieve this summitly distinguished award. And it's very simple. So let me explain how it works. So on 1st July, the base number has been published by Toastmaster International, and all working is related or in reference with the base number. So now we are looking at the number. So I know most of you are chartered accountants, cost management accountants, chartered certified accountants, and chartered friends of these chartered accountants. So it's easy for you to grab the numbers, and it's a number game which we need to understand. And if we understand the numbers, all things are easy to achieve. So base number is the number with the reference of which all of our achievement will be calculated. So there are 3 criteria. Number 1 is paid clubs. How many paid clubs we have? So we have 30 clubs in the beginning of this program. Second is membership payments. So we have made 1,400 payments in last year. And this payments, you all know that there's this 2 cycles of payments. So which means if we get a ballpark number, we have 700 members. So 1,400 payments. So each member has 2 payments. So here it is reflected as 1,400. So we might have 700 to 800 members right now. Third criteria is distinguished club. So if we have 30 paid clubs, we can reach up to 30 clubs. So it is a base number. Now we have to see how we can become a distinguished district. So I will go stepwise. If we want to achieve the first level, which is distinguished club, we need only one club. We need to add only one club and become 31 clubs district to achieve this distinguished status. And as mentioned by Zishan Ahmed, we have already achieved this by the addition of Sadaka Toastmasters Club. We only have to add few more payments in addition to existing members and securing existing members. And for distinguished clubs, we need only 12 clubs to become distinguished so that we can achieve first level of distinguished program. The second step, now challenge is growing. So same 31 clubs we have to have, then we have to add few more members, 1,444 payments we need, and 14 distinguished clubs. So remember, paid clubs payments are easier in our experience of the first year. Distinguished club is a real challenge. And Toastmaster International give more weightage to distinguished clubs when they count which district is number 1, number 2, number 3. So they give whole weightage to this category. So it's very important for us to focus on distinguished clubs. So if we have 14 clubs becoming distinguished, any level of distinguished, so our district can become select distinguished. The third level is president distinguished. For this, we need to add 2 clubs to reach 32. We need to reach at 1472 membership payments and 15 clubs as distinguished clubs. So relatively easy, 50% of our club base, if we can achieve as distinguished club, and it's easy because last time we did it. So in previous year, we have 21 clubs achieve distinguished club status. And for summitly distinguished, which is our target, we need to add 3 clubs, which is 33 clubs. And then we need payment of 1,514 and 17 clubs as distinguished clubs. So it's relatively easy target because in past we have achieved 21 clubs as a distinguished club. So achieving 17 clubs is relatively easy. And 1,500 payments and 3 new clubs is not a big deal for passionate and energetic leaders present here and members who are not present here. So the story didn't end here because we need to think for a bigger target. We need to achieve a bigger target this year. So summitly distinguished should not be our target. It is one of our targets, but it should not be ultimate goal. So what should be our ultimate goal then? In year 1920, we were world number 2 district in that education program, which is a big achievement for any district in the first. It's like a debut cricketer making a century in the first inning. It's like that. So we were world number 2 last year. And we were very close of achieving world number 1. Let me explain that to you. So this is the criterion. What was our achievement? If we know our achievement, we can aim for a bigger target this year. So we grew 43% in number of clubs. We jumped from 21 to 30 clubs. So there was a growth of 43% in paid clubs. For payments, when our paid clubs grow, obviously payments also grow because the number of members are added. So 38% growth in the payment. And we have 100% of our base clubs achieve distinguished club status. Amazing. So out of 30, we have, out of 21, we have 21. All of the clubs were distinguished. So in this 21, there are many new clubs who have contributed. So existing few clubs didn't achieve our distinguished status, but due to the efforts of new clubs, we ended with 21 clubs as distinguished clubs. So now what I will do, that I will apply this percentage. Paid clubs 43%, payments 38%, and for distinguished clubs, what I did, I have applied 20% on the base number. So what are the numbers? So if we want to become world number one, and by the way, this is the estimated number. We need to see our competition and we need to adjust our strategies as the time pass by. So if we want to achieve world number one, as we were world number one in paid clubs, so I selected the same percentage, and to achieve the world number one status, we need to reach at least 43 clubs by the end of this year, which is addition of 13 clubs. More is always better. Payments, we need to reach at 1933. And for distinguished club, I have selected 20% because last year we lost on this ground and we became second. So if we have 20% or 15% of 115% of our clubs achieving distinguished club, we could have world number one. So I have applied 20%. This year's leadership can apply any percentage they want. It's an estimated number from my side that if we have 36 clubs achieve their goals and at least 5 goals so that become distinguished. So this is a real challenge for our area directors and all presidents to work, that we need not only to achieve our own club, make that club as a distinguished club, but also help those clubs which are not being able to achieve this status. The question is why we were not world number one in year 1920. So if we know the reason, we can better plan this year and not to repeat that mistake, so that we can end this year on a high note. We were number one in clubs. So our club growth was marvelous and amazing. We were number one in paid members. We have beaten all districts in the world. We were number 2 in distinguished clubs. Why we were number 2 in distinguished clubs? So what I've analyzed that our 24 clubs have completed or achieved their goals which are required to become distinguished. However, we ended at 21. 3 of our clubs achieved goals but failed to achieve qualifying requirements. So this is the catch which have given us a serious blow. One little mistake or one little thing which has deprived us from world number 1 last year, and that is qualifying requirement. A club must have 20 members or 5 net addition if the base membership is less than 20 members. So these 3 clubs have achieved more than 5 goals, but their membership was below 20. So this was the reason why we didn't become world number 1. So if you are pushing your clubs to achieve goals, and they have achieved goals, then focus on membership renewals to hit 20 number. This is a magical number. So most of our clubs are 20 or above in the base number. So you have to focus on 20. And if number is less than 20, even then focus for 20 membership, so that we end on a high note. So what are the helpful resources? I would like to share a few of them to you. Number one is this website, which shows you the performance of your district, your clubs or areas. And you can see any club on this website, what its performance is, any district, any area, and division. So this is the uh, address of this website. It's Toastmaster dashboard, and it's known as performance dashboards. And you can view where you stand, where your competition stands. So I highly recommend all of you to visit this frequently so you can know where we stand. Next helpful resource is also dashboard. There's a daily reports available, April dues renewal, officer list, educational achievement of your district, new clubs form, new clubs sponsor mentors list, Triple Crown awards, the members who achieve more than 3 educational awards in a year. And there are lots of things you can see on this helpful resource, which will be shared to you shortly. And this is the one other report which is available. And from this website, you can see where you stand today. So on 14th August, District 122, where it stands. So for Distinguished Club, it's #1 right now. And others are, because it's too early to view this because it's only 1.5 months. So this report's importance increases as the time pass by. So in this report, you can see which area needs what actions are required, which clubs are near distinguished club status and what they need to do. So this is very helpful resource you can see for your own district and also for other districts. Okay, so this is just a suggestion for district leadership that we should at least aim for these numbers, and higher is the better. And this is achievable target in my view. If we all work together and if our area directors are aiming high, because if we have this big number, then area directors have to come out of their comfort zone. Because for example, we have 9 areas. And if all area director says that I have to add only 1 club this year, we won't be able to achieve our target. We need to hit 43, which means our area directors have to work for more than 1 club. They have to add more than 1 club in their area, and they have to ensure that none of their club in their territory dies. So it happens in past that making a club is difficult, and ensuring its healthiness and ensuring that it is alive, it's a bit easier. So convincing new people to form a club is a bit challenging. So focus, ensure that none of your club dies, and also focus on more than 1 club. You have to add at least 2 clubs. Everyone should think about it, and if you can add more than 2, it's a blessing for the district. And then payments will come along. It's also important that we start our payment cycle from 15th August. So for example, if you 45 days before the deadline, so that you can be able to ensure that payments are on time, and all of our clubs are ensuring 100% payments. And third is 36 distinguished clubs we need to achieve, so that nobody in the world can beat us this year to become world #1. And this is estimated number. So I have used 20% for distinguished clubs. So if there is a district which is performing well, so you have to see the reports which I have shared and focus if they are going high, so you have to increase this number. So the good thing will be if we are able to add more clubs in first quarter or second quarter, and then we can try to make those clubs achieve distinguished status as well, it will help us in achieving to become world number one. So let's do it. The way to get started is quit talking and begin doing. Begin doing. So let's start our journey. And I would like to thank our district leadership and all members to, so this time we have a series of training, and I would like to thank all of you for coming and listening to distinguished speakers. And I think we can do much better this year from the last year, although the last year performance was also marvelous. So 3 minutes are left, and if you have any question, I'm available.
Assalamu alaikum, Zaid. This is Kashif Saigal, Area Director A8. I just have a very quick question in terms of when you talk about achieving the Distinguished Club status. So we need to have that 20 members at 30th of June for this specific purpose. Is that right?
Yes. So there's two criterias. We need to see base numbers. If base number of your club is 20, so you need to stick to that numbers. If you have 20 members, the objective is achieved. And if any club has less than 20 members, so they need to add at least 5 new members and close. For example, if you have 8 members as a base number, add 5. You need to close at 13 at 30th June.
Thank you.
Okay, Toastmaster Zed, I have a small question for achieving the distinguished status. There is a very easy mark and which is very much a needed mark, and that is of the trainings. If a club which has missed the training because they got the charter after the first training is being over, and now they don't have the chance to attend the both trainings and they can't achieve the mark by attending the both quarters session, which is now one is being done and one is going to be happen after 4 or 5 months. Can the area or the division can arrange a specific training for that club to achieve that mark? Is it possible?
So it's a very important question. So the clubs forming after this training, what will happen to those? So there's a guidance in Toastmaster International for PQD to arrange separate training for new clubs, and there's a timeline defined. So the requirement is a bit relaxed, and they will be given more time to conduct training. So yes, you can coordinate with program quality director and your division director as well, and you can conduct training with approval of PQD.
Thank you.
Okay, so no.
There's a question in the chat box, and that is that from Vanessa Herrera, for 2019-20, how many distinguished clubs did we miss to make number one? So people want us to go over that painful time again and again.
Yeah, that in my view, if we have, I think 2 clubs we missed. We have 3 in pipeline who have achieved their all goals, more than 5 goals, and they have they missed the target of membership. So they have missed 20 magical number. So there were 3 clubs who missed it, and if we have only 2 from them, we could have become the world number 1.
Okay, I believe, yes, it's now over to you, Toastmaster Fahad.
Yeah.
And thank
Thank you, DTM Zaid Kalia, for such a wonderful session, I would say, and for showing us a very clear path to be the world number 1 next time. Actually, it gives us a good clarity of what we have to do and in what terms. So thank you once again for being with us and sharing your insights with us. Thank you, DTM Zaid Kalia. So moving on, yes, the next challenge that all of us have to face or we are facing is the new clubs. And yes, I think that is going to be the most challenging thing for our district this time, as also highlighted by DTM Zaid Kalia in our district recognition program. So moving on to our next session, it's based on the same theme, establishing and supporting the new clubs. And that is the main target of all of us, of all the areas, of both the divisions, and definitely the district. So for this session, I would like to call our, once again, distinguished Toastmaster, Atif Irfan Sheikh, who is a Division Director of Division A, to please join us and guide us, enlighten us with how to establish the new clubs and support them continuously so that we can achieve all the required targets. So I would once again like to call DTM Atif Irfan. Please join me in welcoming him for this new session.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. I hope I am audible, clear. You can see me well.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Great. Okay, so we have been hearing so many things during court and so many numbers, so many great things. And I want you all to go back to your childhood. And in our childhoods, we used to watch cartoon a lot. And I would like to start with a short cartoon film. And I want you to not just see it, feel it. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
great.
So Pete planted the seed. Quack supervised. Take a little more. Okay, a little more, a little more. Good. Okay, put it under dirt. Then wait. That's when he discovered that waiting is one of the hardest things to do. Pete watered and waited for days and 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 days until Quack and Chirp began to worry.
Nothing is ever gonna grow. Peep is wasting his whole life staring at dirt. Did he bury it by this green thing? That's it! I see! It's growing!
Hey! Now that they'd seen it growing, Quack and Chirp helped Peep care for the little seedling. They had to water it every day for days and days and days.
A long time. Yeah.
A long time. And during that time, leaves grew and the flower got taller. And every day it became more and more like
a big, giant, beautiful sunflower. We did it! Shh! It's dancing. Look!
So that was it. So we just saw Peep and his friends, and I feel like calling him Toastmaster Peep. Toastmaster Peep. He had a vision growing a beautiful sunflower for himself and his friends. So now coming towards Toastmaster. We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. What's a new club? It's a beautiful sunflower like the one grown by Peep. In next few minutes, I'm going to talk about 3 compelling factors that contribute towards building and supporting clubs successfully. To me, These are people, power, and perseverance. So let's start with people. Building a club is not just gathering a few people from community or corporation. It's a group of right people who are really ambitious about their own lives and can create a difference in the lives of others as well. Do we find so many right people around us? Do we find them? The answer is yes, as well as no. Yes, because everyone wants to get the best in his or her life and for his fellows, for family, for colleagues, everyone. But no, because they don't know how to do it. This is the challenge. The people you know in your institutions, the places you studied, the places you work, the communities you interact, organizations you have friend in, and there are so many places where you find these potential leaders searching for the right platform. And they want to learn and serve. So experience taught me that even if you find just 3 selfless leaders with a great service mindset, they can take their new club to amazing heights. And one more very interesting fact, and that I took as a challenge. Even if you have a single leader left in a club, he or she will support the club, making more leaders. Why? Because in Toastmasters is all about making leaders, and it's a place where leaders are made. So whether it's about building or supporting a club, right people need to be in place, or we have to make them right. I'll repeat again. Either they have to be in place, either the right people have to be in place, or we have to make them right. And if you remember the movie, there was a beautiful leading soul, Pete, that made people right. And this world becomes a better place for everyone when we make people right for a job. Coming towards the second compelling factor, and after people, that is power. So I call it the power of trust, the power of trust. We may convey message loud and clear to every single person in this world, telling about success stories of Toastmasters and whatnot. But unless a person goes through a powerful club meeting experience, getting a trust that, yes, this is the right place for me, my colleagues, my family, my friends, my community, it will be nowhere. So we have to give that power, that trust to that person who is coming to us. And remember, no one will take the risk of forming a new organization, a new club, in absence of that power. Once we are able to give a complete trust about quality, then there's a next question. That person, he or she, demands more trust in a way that, would my club be that successful? Would I be able to run that club with the same degree of success you are running? So you have to give him or her that power. Yes, we are behind you. You are the person who can do it. You have to make him or her feel like a real leader. And that's how it goes on. That's the right kind of people we need. That's how we make people right. So this is the power of trust. And now coming towards the third factor, after power and people. An inevitable factor for success in building and supporting new clubs is perseverance. So we see so many moments when a club gets close to charter, but the idea gets shelved. When the sponsor organization changes its decision, or planned charter members sometimes regret due to some reason, any reason. And if nothing happens and the club gets a charter successfully, there are more risks, like organization decides to withdraw its sponsorship for members, or member gets too busy to attend the meetings, or some senior management person in an organization takes it all as a useless activity. Or in case of community club, the venue becomes a problem, and there are so many possibilities, so many hardships can come. So these situations will keep on arising time to time, and we have to be resilient enough never to give up. There will be people seen saying that it's not going to work, you are wasting your time. And it's quite like what we saw in the movie when the friends of Pete were saying that. But as they say, a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. So you have to be a winner. You have to pass through all those circumstances. First thing, you have to organize people, the right people, or making them right. And then second step is to impart power. You have to give them a lot of power to run the club successfully, to build it, to run it. And the third thing, perseverance. If anything goes wrong, you have to support them. You have to stand behind them. You have to stand by them. And that's how the things go on. So I would like to share my experience as past area director A3, starting with a small area with 3 clubs, and it was the smallest one in the whole district. I was able to initiate 6 more clubs. At the end of the term, 4 of them had chartered and 2 were in the pipeline because of that COVID situation. And I would say that overall chartered clubs, which were 7, 4 got distinguished status and others performed quite well. I see these 3 prominent factors as ingredient of success: people, power, perseverance. So like DTM Zaid Kalia, I would also end up with the same quote because I really loved that. The way to get started is quit talking and begin doing. So let's get to work, boys and girls. I would say boys and girls because we are all young people in Toastmasters. There is not even an old guy. Even I am not old. You are not old. Nobody is old. So we are all young boys and girls, and we have to make District 122 set a precedence for the whole world. So are you with me on that? We have just 2 minutes left. And in case of any questions, please just share in chat box, or you just can unmute yourself and go for it. We have just 2 minutes for that. Okay, so if there are no questions, it can be a very good sign and a very bad sign. But I would take it that I have shared everything very well, and everything is so clear, and you are all convinced with those 3 factors. Over to you, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Atif Irfan Sheikh Saab. And your cartoon movie was wonderful. And you know, it actually conveyed the essence of the entire message that you gave us. That yes, you have to be patient while forming a new club. And once it is formed, you have to keep watering it. You have to prevent it from dying. And I think that's even more difficult because once you establish something, then you have to look after it. And when you have to look after it, you have to pull in all your resources to bring it the best in it and to make it grow to its best. Okay. Moving on to a panel discussion today by one of our honorable guests. So this panel discussion will be for another 35 minutes, I would say. And it's regarding the club visits and area success. The area directors, one of the key responsibilities of area directors is to visit different clubs in their area, and they have to submit their visit reports to the Toastmasters International. And in order to highlight upon that, to enlighten us upon that, we have our honorable guest speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Faisal Jamil. Let me have a bit of his introduction. DTM Faisal Jamil is working as a projects planning coordinator in Kuwait Oil Company. He's a certified associate trainer from International Society for Trainers and Developers, USA. He is a certified professional volunteer in Kuwait as well. He joined Toastmasters in the year of 2017 and started his journey as VPPR, followed by VPE from Khush Bayan Toastmasters Club. Also served as the area director of Area 31 for the term 2019 and 2020. Currently, he is serving as Division H Director and the President of Inspiring Ecos Toastmasters Club. So please join me in welcoming distinguished Toastmaster Faisal Jamil, and he'll be inviting his panelists for a panel discussion. Over to you, distinguished Toastmaster Faisal Jamil.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Fahad, Master of Ceremonies for today. Our District Director, DTM Zunair Zafar, PQD, DTM Talha bin Hamid, and CGD Malik Muhammad Umair, and all the XCOM of District 122. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I welcome you all in the club visit and area success panel discussion. Before we start, let me just get on the panelist with me. So we will start with our first panelist, Toastmaster Syed Najam Rizvi. I would request Toastmaster Syed Najam to please switch on your camera so I can see you on first screen. I still can't see.
I think he's not here yet, so you can move on.
All right. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. So our second panelist will be DTM Dr. Munib. I'll request DTM Munib to please come up on the camera so I can see you. By the time you please switch on your camera. So far, our second panelist, which is actually the third panelist, DTM Shehzad Sherwani. He is Immediate Pass Area Director. Toastmaster DTM Shehzad. I can see Toastmaster Mohammed Inib. Thank you, sir, for joining in. Thank you so much. DTM Inib, can somebody confirm if he's in the meeting?
Yes, I'm in the meeting. Thank you, DTM Faisal Jamil.
Yeah.
All right.
DTM Shehzad is also in the meeting.
Shehzad, would you like to please open your camera so we can have eye-to-eye contact? And please also let me know if we are going to have another panel discussion, panelist, or we are going to go with the two of panelists. Master of Ceremonies or respected PQD, are we going to go with these two panelists?
Let's include. Yes, we can start with these two. Yeah, why not?
All right. We have our passionate leader, Toastmaster DTM Zunair Zafar. Thank you so much for joining in. I would request everyone to please.
Not me. Not me. I'm asking for DTM Atif to join.
All right, perfect. So our third panelist would be DTM Atif Irfan. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in. I will request these three panelists. All right, I can see two of them. It would be great if I can see the third one also, Shehzad, so we can have really good eye contact with them. All right, without any further ado, thank you very much for joining in, Toastmaster Mohammed Ani, Toastmaster Irfan Atif, and Toastmaster DTM Shehzad Sherwani. So before I put on some questions, let me just first share my experience as immediate past area director. Well, our area was president distinguished. That was a great success with 100% of COT, not only 4 out of 7, 7 out of 7 in all clubs. And Dot, as an area director and my team, we have attended all the district conducted trainings, 100% club visit. And somehow if you go to the dashboard, you will find the area 31 last year, it was 125 in the second term. Why? Because there was 5th club was added. No base club was lost. And we have added the 1 club, which was actually out of a speechcraft. That was a great thing to be added. So as per my experience, there are 3 elements which we call also, better to say, the pillars, and which you can rely to increase your chances of success as an area director. So the first thing, as per the book, which we call the district leadership book, there are 3 main elements, including my own experience, which are the Toastmaster role and responsibilities, which we talk about even during the discussion. And the second one, which is the value added by me out of my experience, which is the value you add as an area director or as a leader. And the third one is very important, and I love it, which is, are you enjoying your journey? Because Ralph C. Smedley, he says, we learn best in moments of enjoyment. So are you enjoying your journey, or are you feeling bored? Why I have taken up this role? So we will talk about how you can make it more excited, and we will talk about the role and responsibilities, and all our discussion would be all around these 3 points, including the extract from District Leadership Handbook. So as we all know, what is our mission as a district, since that's the XCOM of districts, to build new clubs and to support all clubs in achieving excellence. It's just a 1 single line. All right. So are we ready? The panel, for panel discussion? Panelists, are we ready? Can I have the thumbs up? All right, perfect. So before we go into the discussion, let me just introduce the 3 of the panelists. They will just have 1 or 2 lines their introduction, because it's going to be very interactive and informative for all of you. I would say, please have a notebook and a pen with you, because they are going to go with a lot of learning for you guys as a Toastmasters. So let me start with our first panelist, Toastmaster Muhammad Aneeb. DTM Muhammad Aneeb, would you like to introduce yourself in a line and overall your
Assalamu sir,
experience?
कैसे हैं आप? ठीक ठाक? जी.
This wasn't my introduction.
Yeah.
Okay. ठीक है. Okay.
It's okay. I'm wondering, like, he's not speaking, but the voice is coming out. All right, perfect. So Toastmaster DTM Muhammad Aneeb, would you like to share yourself, your experience as an overall experience as past area director?
Thanks, DTM Faisal Jamil. My journey with Toastmasters began way back in 2011. And in the first year after I joined, I took up a position of VP Education, and then the position of Karachi Toastmaster Club's president. And the journey continued with setting up our own corporate club at Hubco, and I became the president of the club. Last year, I assumed the position of division director of Division B of our territorial council. So that was an experience that I had with working closely with our area directors on a regular basis. I'm an engineer by profession, work for a power generating company, and my education background is I'm a mechanical engineer. UET graduate, and subsequently went to have my master's degree at University of Wisconsin Madison and doctorate from Imperial College London. Over to you, DTM Faisal.
Wow, great. Thank you so much. So let's have the introduction from DTM Atif Irfan as well and his experience. DTM
Yes.
Atif Irfan, over to you.
Thank you very much. So there are so many things in common between DTM Munib and myself. I'm a civil engineer from UET, and after my engineering, I went for management certifications, and I have been project director of so many international projects, and these things are my professional life. But the most important thing that I would like to share with my fellow Toastmasters is a saying of Einstein, Albert Einstein. And he said that I'm not a genius, I am passionately curious. So that's what I have always adopted in life, that I am passionately curious. I want to do new things, take myself into difficult situations, coming out of them and enjoying them afterwards, thinking that, yes, I was able to do it. So that's my introduction. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Do we have DTM Najam as well? Is he in the session now?
He will be joining in a few minutes. He's facing some connectivity issues, so I'll alert as soon as he goes.
We have DTM Shahzad. DTM Shahzad, would you like to please introduce yourself and your overall experience? Then we will start with the questions. DTM Shahzad, am I audible to you? Moderator, can you please help me out if he's in the meeting?
Yeah, he appears to be in the meeting, but he is logged in.
All right. I will just request again, DTM Shehzad, Sherwani, if you're in the meeting, would you like to please introduce yourself and your role or experience, because then we will go into deeper and we will have a panel discussion with our panelists. I believe he has some technical issue. Let's go further.
I think so.
All right, let's go further. Now, as I said, our all discussion would be around the role and responsibilities and what value you can add or you have added last year. So as I will see the roles, it's you or as area director, we as an area director, we coordinate between district and clubs. All right, we are that middle person who coordinate between that two parties. We just ask them what are their requirements, what exactly they needed, and we help them out and just reach out to district, how we can help them. So if I'll ask Toastmaster DTM Munib, what do you think about what kind of coordination you have made last year between the clubs and the district?
Yeah, thank you, DTM Jamil. We had two areas. We had 4 clubs and 5 clubs in each of the areas. I think what was important for us that the product which Toastmasters is, it has to be a consistent product all across the clubs, because if an outsider goes to one club and then has an experience of another club, that has to be consistent and has to be a top quality product which needs to be maintained. So there are new clubs coming up all the time, and they need hand holding. They need to be told what is there in a good quality club. So in our interaction with the area directors, the discussions revolved around getting a feedback on what has been each club up to, what are the difficulties they are facing, what kind of issues each club has, how to overcome them. And then we would try to report back the same to the district. there was a club which was struggling, and we could not continue with the club. So I think we had to, this report had to have a discussion, and what in the case of a dying club, what needs to be done? Is there anything that you can do to actually put this club on its feet and not let it die? So that is the first objective. And if it does go down that line, what to do next? And what is required to look for alternatives, assign this club, redesignate this club, and then put it together, offer it to any other stakeholders that are interested to actually make that club alive. And that's what we did in one of our clubs, which was dying. So we tried to rehabilitate, we tried to provide that support when the support wasn't coming. So we redesignated the club, offered it to few stakeholders, and the ones who showed more interest, they were offered to them. So I think, as I said, that it's extremely important that product that we represent as Toastmasters, it has to be consistently demonstrated all across the clubs. Some of the clubs, especially the new ones, they are not aware, and they are doing certain things in a certain manner, and they assume that that is the right way to go about. But in fact, that needs to provide a feedback and issues and bigger issues that have to be reported back to the district. So I think this was like a two-way communication between the area directors and the division directors reporting back to the district.
Wow,
DTM.
great. Thank you so much. It was very well explained and beautifully you have done. What I see while you talk about the dying clubs, I feel like there are three kind of factors. The one is the membership. The second one is the interest from members itself while the club is dying. And the third one is actually the leadership. If the club EXCOM is not that passionate or not putting that efforts, so we see a lot of clubs, they would not be that much involved, and even overall the membership will go. Thank you so much, DTM Munib. I will move forward with our second role in that as an area director, which I will just put on here for DTM Atif Irfan. It says identify opportunities for club and provide support from the district. So as an area director, would you like to share your experience, how you identify different kind of opportunities for clubs and what kind of support you have provided from the district or as a EXCOM member from yourself? DTM Atif Irfan.
Okay, thank you for this question. So when I assumed the role of an area director last year, so what was the first thing that was in high focus? What are the clubs? And every club is like a different plant. Some needs more water, some needs fertilizer, some need some more fresh air, and all these things. So you have to assess that what are the requirements of that club? What is the type of members in that club? And after assessing all that, all the need analysis, when it is done, we go for a SWOT analysis that what are the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threat, and then we place a club somewhere that this is the club which can do wonders, or this is the club which needs a push in this area, in this specific area where they are not that strong. So once we identify this all, and then we deal the club in accordance to that analysis, then we can really succeed. So that was the first part of the question, that how to assess the clubs, and then how to integrate what they really need, what help they need from district. What the district can do, first thing is just keeping an eye that how is the leadership going on? Are the members comfortable with the leadership? And this all information goes through the area director. And I would say that area director reports are really great tools to transmit all the information what area director sees. So this is just a document thing that the area director has to make 2 visits, or he has or she has to just fill in the form. I would say, being a true leader, he or she has to be connected with all the clubs all the time. So whenever there is a problem with the president, there should be no hesitation that he or she should just pick up the phone and say, hey, area director, I have this problem, help me out of that. So that's how the things goes on. That's how there is a bonding between the clubs and the areas, and that thing should be transferred or transmitted till the district, the district directory. So whenever there's a need, the district director, the program quality director, anyone of the trio can be asked to bail out that club from that situation. I give you an example. There was a club in my area where there were 0 renewals. Because the university, it was in a university was closed, and no one was, even the vice chancellor office was not operating, everyone was working from home, and we were seeing no chances of getting any renewal, and that club was simply going to die. So the president was very comfortable with me. She told me that this is a problem, how to get out of that. We contacted the vice chancellor, we did everything what can be done. And then I asked our district trio to help me in that. So we had a conference call, we had a Zoom call, and we took the president and we tell her that we are with you. We will find you members. We will help you in any way we can. So in just 4 days, that 4 days were left, just 4 days were left. And in 4 days, she built 8 members. And the club just saved from getting that bad kind of a death. So I would say that this is the way a district should support, a district can support, and we are all together. We are not just club officers, we are not just area directors, we are all Toastmasters. So never forget that. And whenever there's a problem, let's be together and sort it out.
Amazing, amazing. DTM Atif Irfan, thank you so much. What I can grasp, like you have talked about the member comfort, and the third point I mentioned at start, which was, are they enjoying, and how you try to just build the rapport at start. As an area director, you have to contact them, all the presidents of the clubs, and you just build a strong rapport for them and be friend with them. Beautiful points you have mentioned. Thank you so much, Atif Irfan. We will move forward with our third panelist. I can see him on the list now. Let me just call upon DTM Shehzad. DTM Shehzad, if you are in the meeting, please give me a wave, come up on the camera so we can have some questions for you as well. DTM Shehzad. DTM Shehzad.
DTM Shehzad may not be available, but Toastmaster Najib is with us.
All right, perfect. Wow, we have another person. Thank you so much, DTM Zanir. So, DTM Najib, would you like to please come up on the camera if it's possible?
His camera is on.
He's already there on the camera.
All right, perfect. So DTM Najib, you were missed. We were missing you as that, but no problem. We gathered you here. Now, would you like to please share overall your experience in a minute, and then I'll put up a question to you. Over to you, DTM Najib. 3, 2, 1. I feel he's still facing some technical issue.
He has unmuted himself. I believe he's in.
3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. We will include him later if he's not able to join in now. All right. Okay. So the third one, which as a role, as an area director role, which is to visit the clubs. And to perform the visit, there are several elements which we do as an area director. And if you be friend with them, there are some specific element, like in terms of the overall club education and the membership and the other issues if there are. So let me ask from DTM Muhammad Anib, if you have done the club visits last year. So what was the points or the issues you observed they come up with and you find it was very difficult to solve them, but you done that brilliantly. So DTM Munib, would you like to put some light while the club visit, what was your overall experience and what was the issues they come up with, which was the really challenge for you to solve it? Over to you, DTM Muhammad Ani. Please unmute yourself. DTM Muhammad Ani. Yes.
Within the club visits, I think the dynamics of different clubs, we just need to appreciate that we have corporate clubs and we have clubs which are community clubs. So I think the dynamics of each of them are different. In terms of corporate clubs, the major issue is the crunch of time. So we literally do not have time to hold the meetings. So the question is, people are struggling all the time to have the projects done at the corporate. Hour and a half is the max that we could actually schedule our meeting. And when these corporate clubs are set up, we were mentioned, the people who were in the program, they mentioned that difficulties that they were having to actually hold the meetings on a regular basis. If you are holding a meeting and a high priority assignment comes up, that will have a priority. So from that point of view, it's a great struggle. Looking at it from Toastmaster International's rule book, if you can carry out a meeting once in a month, that's also is good enough. So I think that's where we started off with these corporate clubs. And similarly with community clubs, I think problems had been with people coming to grips with the program itself. There were the clubs which are new and that required to provide clarity on each role, how that needs to be functioned, and there were some dissimilarities between the clubs, how each segment of the program was run. So I think that was constant guidance to them. So I think I would say if I have to pick up one major thing to actually help these clubs, it's the connectivity between the area directors and the club presidents. I think constant helping them, coaching them, providing them guidance, and encouraging them to address each of the problems. So I think that is what our experience has been last year.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Mohammad Aneem. That's really great. All right, so if I'll just share some few points here in the roles. We contact with the club president regularly and also to help them to earn distinguished recognition. But to perform this or to help them into get this distinguished recognition, we build team within the area. As an area director, you build your team, your assistant area director, program quality and club growth, and you can have one secretary for the area, which also they have the voting rights, just for your information. All right, and then you can have your council members. So what are the council members? The council members, your club president, your VP education, and your VP membership. These are from each club. These are part of your area council. So these are actually your roles. Now we will talk about more the responsibilities for more few minutes. I can see the timer, it shows like 7 minutes, few seconds. We will go fast, and I will request also the panelists to be to the point so we can have some questions from the audience as well. All right, now we will talk about the responsibilities. There are 6 main responsibilities, which are the guidance, the area council, where we hold the 2 meetings each year, club visits 2 times, which are July to November and December to May. All right, next year, the 2 rounds. And other point is area progress. We monitor as an area director progress. We monitor the area progress and help them for the achieve the distinguished program. And the last one is area speech contest. These are actually the main responsibilities as per the district leadership handbook. Now I will just put some questions to our panelists, how they handle this and what are their experience for so far. All right, so regarding we already talked about the guidance. Let's talk about the area council. So if I'll go to DTM Atif Irfan, if I'll talk about the area council, what was your experience with your area council? Because I know in different clubs, there are different kind of people. So you have to deal with different kind of people. They feel like they are good. They don't need to learn many things. And there are some leadership difficulties while you deal with them. So in your area council, what was the challenges? If I'll ask you that 3 or 2 challenges, let's say keep it 2 because we are running out of time. So what was the 2 main challenges you faced in your area council? Over to you, DTM Atif Irfan.
The first challenge was when I was forming the area council. There were so many people who wanted to join the area council. I couldn't decide whom to take into the area council, whom to say no. So I played it very smartly. So what I did was that I made an area council, whatever is recommended by Toastmasters International. And I added so many other volunteers in that. So that was a whole demo team. So whenever we had to do a demo meeting, my team was always ready. That was my area team. And that's why we gave a lot of demos for new clubs. So that was the first challenge and that's how I handled it. That was the first challenge, how to take them. The second point was that it was the first year of our territorial council. So the people who were working on quality, they were not very much aware how to do these things. So it was quite much useful when we conducted trainings on pathways and so many things and telling them about their roles. And I engaged them in pathways trainings and these things. So I say that that's how the situation was handled. Otherwise, in the first year, when we get a very little guidance, that even the district trio was saying that we don't have 100% guidance on many things. We are getting it. We will make mistakes. We will learn from our mistakes. And same goes for the areas and divisions. So that was the second challenge that I would like to point out here.
All right, perfect, great. Good answer. And you have a great experience with it. Now we will talk about the club visit. I will go to Mohammed Anib, but before I'll go to Mohammed Anib, let me just tell you how important that the club visits are for area director. At least we need 75%. 75% means if you have 4 clubs, at least you have to submit the 3 clubs report online. You have to visit the club, schedule with them, and normally Toastmasters says inform them like 1 month before, which is written in the book. But if now we have online, you can go even faster. But at least if you have, let's say 3 clubs, so at least you have to visit 2 clubs to achieve 75% out of 100% to be as a distinguished area. If you will not, if you have done that, it happens many times, and in my experience, we have done the visits, but we did not submit the report online. So we have to submit the report online until it's submitted and reflecting your actual, which is at least 75%. So I would like to have a question from DTM Mohammed Anib. What do you think, what was your experience while you visited as an area director to the clubs? What was the challenges and what was their concerns? And it was strange while they were asking you that kind of questions or that kind of, they were very demanding. So what was your experience while you visited the clubs? DTM Mohammed, over to you.
DTM Jamil, we had 2 area directors who had visited quite a number of clubs as we were passing through the first year of territorial council, and all of these concepts were a bit new, but what I can say that whatever assignment you do and it is applicable to area directors' visit to each individual club, the main thing is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So before you go down and make a visit to the club, do your homework properly and thoroughly. Every club has a lot of information about it. Just have a complete research before going to the club, and I think our area directors did do that very well before going down and meeting the relevant EXCOM members and to attend the relevant meeting of the club. So I think that's important to plan well, have those issues already they need to be framed very well so that how to address them. So when you go down there with solutions already in mind. So your presence there has to be value addition, not when you go down there you take just have a surprise. So I think that's my feedback on that.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. May I request again if we have DTM Toastmaster Najam Rizvi, if he's in the meeting, so we can just include him for one question.
I'm here.
All right, perfect. Good to hear you. Thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you.
Well, I will not ask you too many questions because we already have asked too many questions from other panelists. I will just give you a free hand to just share your personal experience as an area director for within a minute. So we will just wrap up then. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I was area director of Division B Club 2, second area 2. And we had 4 clubs in this area. And as you said, it's not always possible to visit all the clubs. I was able to visit 3 clubs when the in-person meetings were held, and subsequently when online meetings were held. Each club has its own different flavor. One was a corporate club, the other was a community club, and one was my own club, Karachi Toastmasters. Obviously, Karachi Toastmasters, it's always when you try to assess the strengths and weaknesses of your home club, it's difficult because you're a part of it. So that's something I'd like to point out to the new area directors, that to critically review how their own club works, and maybe you can, when you visit the other clubs, they can provide you some pointers how your own club can improve. Similarly, from your experience of your own club, when you go to a different club, you always get points that some clubs do some things better than other clubs, and you can maybe help them and suggest that this would be a better way of doing it. Another thing is that each club has its problem. Like especially one of the clubs that I was which was in my area, the organization was going under transformation, so they had a lot of problems with having the meetings regularly. Fortunately, because they had the management support, the club has survived and it's still a regular club. But in these clubs, what I would suggest that you encourage other club members to visit these clubs, and you encourage these clubs, the newer club members, to visit the older clubs. So that gives you that gives them a great experience, a learning experience. That's a real experience. So these are my thoughts. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Najam, for joining in. It was a great experience to have you in the panel. All right, I will just wrap up and then we will have 5 minutes from our EXCOM, other area director or division director. They can ask some questions from our panelists, and if they will ask from me, even I'll be happy to take part in. So I will just wrap up. We have talked about as a role and responsibilities. We talked about the coordination opportunities, how you identify different kind of opportunities, and the area visit, importance of area visits, and how you help them to get the distinguished status for each club. Team building, which is very important to select the right team. And the guidance area council meeting, which is very important, where you share your plan in the area council meeting and you work because you can achieve what you plan. The 2 visits, very important. One is already started from July to November, and second one would be December to May. At least we have to achieve 75% to be distinguished area. And then we talk about the area progress, distinguished program, and speech contest actually is area director's responsibility to conduct an area contest. And the last but not least, it was very important, we did not talk about, it was successor. Who would be the next area director? It's very important. From now onward, try to find one person you think can be a good leader and can replace you. And what I feel, once we talk about the successor, I believe the successor is someone who can do better than you. Find somebody you feel like he's better than you without jealousy. Get them on board and ask him if he can be your assistant, and the next year your area director would be ready. You don't need to find somebody else. All right, even you can have 2 or 3 if you find the competent people, and then they can go for election. All right, that was my bit. And then what we extracted from our honorable panelists, it was like team building, and we were talking about the planning and the challenges in dynamics of different kind of clubs, and the member comfort. Of course, as we talk about, as Ralph Smedley says, the enjoyment part, and the build rapport and be friend with them. So these were the few points as an area director, if you will add, that will really add value. And I will just summarize by saying it then, be friend with them and add value, not only go what Toastmasters says only, don't only follow that rule strictly, also add your value, what value you can add as an area director. Just put yourself in their shoe and you will find a really good opportunity for yourself and for them to grow together. With this, I will just wrap up. Thank you so much, Mohammad Dini, DTM Atif, and we have with us Najam Rizvi. Thank you so much. I forgot your name because you joined a bit late due to technical difficulty. Also, DTM Shahzad, he wasn't able to join us due to some technical issue. And thank you so much for people who assisted us, PQD Talha and our Toastmaster of the day today, Master of Ceremonies. Now we will have only few minutes for questions. If we have any questions, I would request, people started raising hands. So I will request our moderator, our Master of Ceremonies, please help me out to please bring them in, whoever raised the hand, and they can free to ask questions. Thank you so much.
Yes, sure, DTM Faisal. Okay, so Ghulam Abbas has raised the hand for the question. So Ghulam Abbas, you can unmute yourself and ask the question for our honorable guest. TM Ghulam Abbas, are you there?
Muted.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Faisal. Thank you so much, Faisal, for such a wonderful session. I would just put up one question. What sort of training that an area director can conduct in his, like in a single club or an intra-club level? What are the do's and don'ts in this regard?
Sorry, can you just repeat your question?
What sort of trainings that an area directors can conduct in his area clubs in a single club and intra-club level? And secondly, what are the do's and don'ts in this regard?
Okay, do you want me to answer or do you want to go to the panelists? All right, I believe you are muted. Okay, I will just fast answer this question, and then I request if you go to the panelists as well, so they can also involve. For this, specifically for the trainings, Toastmaster Ghulam Abbas, for trainings, what we do, the clubs plan their success plan, okay? They design their success plan in the club, which is a document from the Toastmasters. Similarly, in area, we have that documents as an area success plan. So before we design our plan, we ask club to design their plan. So what are the trainings they required and what are the trainings we think that we will add, those will add value for the clubs. We design for our area as an area director and we request them to submit their club plan with the trainings or the requirements they needed. So we add all those with our plan as an area and we submit that plan to division as well. So they can add in their plan as well. So this is how it works. I hope I answered. Thank you so much. All right. Yes, moderator, the next person for the question.
Okay. Anyone else up for the questions from DTM?
There's a question in the chat box.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's already been answered by district director. But again,
I will just add the
yeah.
value here. I will just add the value. He rightly answered district calendar, but that council meeting is basically it's not part of the district more specifically. Each area director can plan his or her visits to the club or the council meeting. So you can, as an area director, you take liberty. Let's say you can have the meeting as soon as possible. You start your term already. We are in August now. So you can have your first area council meeting where you share your area plan and you take all the plans from club first. So to design your plan. And then the second one would be proceeding to the first one. Whatever you find there were challenges and things and where we are today in the second meeting you discussed and what are the remaining points from the last area council meeting. So this is how it works. You can have your own dates because basically district can plan their area, but you can plan for your area as a council meeting. This is what we do actually. We as an area, we have our calendar and even division have their own calendar, which is aligned with the district calendar, by the way. I hope I answered the question. All right, I believe no one is there out there for the question. I was also like same, I was not asking too many questions at start when I was area director, even as Toastmaster. Now we learn how to question a lot. All right, thank you so much with this. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much again for our panelists, Najam Rizwi, DTM Dr. Aneeb, DTM Irfan Adif, and DTM Shehzad. With this beautiful audience, I will hand over the control to our Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Fahad, I believe. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Faisal Jameel. You were our honorable guest today, and it was wonderful listening to you. Very enlightening, very interesting. And since myself, I am being area director, I really enjoyed your session. And we got some really good points to, plan our journey for the next upcoming year. Thank you so much, sir, once again. And we would like to listen to you in our more upcoming meetings, inshallah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, so moving on, since our club growth director, Malik Omer is not with us today because of some family emergency. So now the next 3 sessions would be conducted by our very own dedicated program quality director, Toastmaster, DTM Talab bin Hamid. So it may be a good news for you or a bad news for you. That is up to you to decide. So the next 40 minutes would be spent with our program quality director, distinguished Toastmaster Talab bin Hamid. He's going to conduct 3 sessions. First on the speech contests for 15 minutes. Then the next session would be on the club sponsors, mentors and coaches for another 15 minutes. And then he'll be talking about the TI dashboard, measuring success every day for another 10 minutes. There's going to be a 40 minutes round with him. And I would not like to interrupt him in between. So I'll hand over the charge to our planner of this meeting and to our speaker right now, Honorable Program Quality Director, DTM Talab bin Hamid. Over to you for the next 40 minutes, and then I'll see you after that, inshallah. Over to you, Talab.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fahad. And I don't know what you were driving at. Were you painting it as an attraction or a punishment? Because you said 40 minutes about 40 times. So you guys too much. And just let me try to get this video thing right. I'm still getting to grips with it. Meanwhile, okay, our first session would be about speech contests. So I'll start the time. It will be a 15-minute session, but I'll try to wind it up earlier than that. And I'll be showing you a presentation. Okay. Can everyone see my slide?
The camera issue that you're facing, your ManyCam app is on. So you can, if you minimize it and then start your camera, it will work.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I was actually relying on ManyCam to be able to switch, but I don't think that is okay. Let me minimize it. It's pretty okay. I'll be displaying slides actually. Just a second. Okay. Thank you so much, DTM Zulair, for that help. Yeah, perfect. So this is the reason, one of the reasons you're district director. So thank you so much for that. Okay, can everybody see my screen? I need a confirmation so I can start.
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so conduct quality speech contests. Now, most of the members of the audience have either competed in speech contests or conducted speech contests. So this presentation, which is from the official Toastmasters material, covers all the aspects, theoretical aspects and practical aspects of speech contests. I won't necessarily go into each and every one of them because I believe that most of the aspects are already known to our audience, but I will share some personal experiences and some insights. So, first of all, a district is, okay, so these are the 6 types of speech contests, and I just realized that the taped speech contest or the video speech contest is actually the 6th type. I used to bundle it with the international speech contest, but and secondly, we have evaluation, we have humorous, we have table topics, we have tall tales, and we have international. Now, why do we have so many contests? Having conducted or participated in these contests, yeah, good days when I could participate in contests. I believe that all of them offer a different flavor of Toastmasters. So, for example, International Speech Contest is the most well-reputed. This is the one contest that takes us all the way to international level. Since we are not a district as yet, we can go to at least the International Video Speech Contest, which follows all the rules of International Speech Contest. One thing that you may not realize or may not know is that yes, you can record your winning speech from your own club's international speech contest and then submit it according to the rules and regulations of the date contest, or you can record it separately. The club can decide which contestant's video to be sent to the video speech contest. Usually, it is the winner of the international speech contest, but for some reason, if you could not record the international speech contest according to the specs provided by Toastmasters International, fear not, you can again record the speech with the same setup and everything while complying with the rules and regulations. Second is the evaluation contest, and the best part of evaluation contest is that anybody can participate in it. And you know what? I wonder if this situation is familiar to many of our club leaders today. When it comes to evaluation, there seems to be a stigma in our Toastmasters community that, only certain people can evaluate. Only seniors can evaluate. Only DTMs can evaluate. Or the one that I heard when I ventured first into my Toastmasters club, if someone is on, let's say, advanced communication bronze, only a person who has completed that level or certification, they could evaluate. Now, all of that is a misconception because guess what? Evaluation is part of the first level of pathways. So you are expected to evaluate after you've done 3 speeches. So when you hold an evaluation contest, the biggest benefit to the club is that you suddenly discover 7 or 8 or 10 or 12 excellent evaluators previously maybe they were not getting the chance because of that seniority stigma. The third is a humorous contest, which is what I found is ideal to attract non-Toastmasters audience to the club, because humor is something that attracts everyone. Humor is something that entertains everyone. So humorous contest is, I feel, a prime tool to attract non-Toastmasters audience. The next one, table topics, is perhaps the most popular because it is shorter and it's easier to participate in. You don't really need to prepare. Yes, you can prepare, but even if you don't prepare, you can go by on your accumulated skill. So I found that table topics can be used to drive renewals. Table topics can be used to spread the message of Toastmasters. But one thing that we need to be careful about is that outside of Toastmasters community, not many people recognize the term table topics. So perhaps we have to rebrand it as extempore for the posters outside of Toastmasters. And then there's one very interesting, and that is tall tales. And it is a very, very unique contest. Why is it a unique contest? It is a unique contest because it asks the speakers to do things they're not normally allowed to do during Toastmasters speeches. It asks speakers to lie and lie gloriously. It asks to spin tales of fantasy and fiction and take it to the next level. So yes, most of the rules of international speech contests do apply to humorous and tall tales as well. You will find that their ballads are very similar. But tall tales actually expects you to exaggerate. So it has nothing to do with real life. You can put to use your creative powers. You can discover and the storyteller in you when you compete in the tall tales. So area and division directors are resources for club officers' speech contest. That is why area and division directors should read the manual, the speech contest rule book, cover to cover repeatedly. This is very important because yes, your club XCOM, your members will come to you for guidance. So it is important for all of us, for all the district leadership, to be well acquainted with the speech contest rulebook. And there's a new one, 2020 and 21. How do you recognize the new speech contest rulebook? Yes, there's a big old year written 2020-21, but it has the picture of the winner of the last world champion of public speaking. So international speech contest is a must, and up to 3 additional contests can be held. And if you see the district calendar, the timeline for those have already been laid out. Of course, we'll be discussing them, and perhaps we can adjust the timing a little bit. But please expect to hold all your speech contests at the club and area level, ideally by end of this year. That is how we can carry out the timeline and vision in the district calendar. Okay, we will skip this quiz because I believe all of us have administered the contest. So what does the chief judge do? Selects fair and impartial judges, trains contest officials, and prepare contest officials for the role. Now, what does training entail? Since I have held such trainings and I've attended such trainings as well, it's very easy to recount the speech contest ballot. Anybody can do that. In fact, most of the leaders are intelligent enough to actually work out the subtleties of the speech contest ballot. One thing that I'll stress on here, and that I've been observing over the past few years, sometimes we mistake entertainment for quality. And yes, I know that's a controversial statement, but sometimes the most entertaining speech is not the one that sticks the closest to the ballot. And as judge, as chief judge, what you are safeguarding? You are safeguarding the speech contest ballot. You're not actually judging how good the speech is or how well it entertained you. Yes, I know it's a very, very tough line to cross. The lines are very much blurred. But this is one thing that we all have to mentally condition ourselves. We have to mark the numbers impartially, strictly according to the technical criteria. And you know what? When you do that, What is the indication that you've done that? The indication, to me at least, has always been that the ballot results, the totals always surprise me, because my personal top three in my mind versus the top three on the ballot somehow are completely different. And that is a sign, ladies and gentlemen, that you have done the duty of a judge. So be impartial, don't be swayed by entertainment and fireworks, and be very focused on the requirements of the speech contest ballot. Okay, these are some of my personal insights and observations. So what if you have a member who has to do high performance leadership project or a DTM project or some other team management project that is in pathways? They are the ideal person handed over the charge of a contest. You do plan to hold 4 or 5 contests, right? So that means you can give 4 or 5 opportunities for DTM project or high performance leadership project or leading in your volunteer organization, or there are a couple of other pathways projects that fit this brief perfectly. So seek out those people. As we are all focusing today, we need to create new leaders. So when the time comes to chair a contest, don't look to the traditional seniors of the club. Don't look to the usual suspects who you always find for chairing the contest. Find someone new who can utilize it for their pathway. And trust me, when you will do that, the passion and the diligence that they will bring to the assignment, you'll be surprised and knocked over by that. And as a side benefit, they will get to complete their project, and your club will also add to the total of the distinguished club goals. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. Again, I will repeat, find someone who needs to do DTM project, find someone who needs to do high performance leadership, find someone who needs to do some other leadership project in the pathways. So, and you know, the training events, the social events that are held under the Toastmasters auspices, not just the meetings, but the trainings like this, they are a perfect opportunity to attempt some of your pathways project. How do I know that? Because in the first 2 sessions of club officers training, 3 foreign speakers actually accomplished projects through their sessions. And how do I know that? Because they asked me to evaluate them. So learn to utilize every speaking opportunity and try to pair it with the Pathways project. As our district director yesterday alluded to, this is about life beyond Toastmasters. And this is one perfect way to move beyond Toastmasters. If you are a panelist somewhere, if you've got a panel discussion, you need to pair it with a Toastmasters project, and you will be surprised by the results. Secondly, use them for renewals. Now, if you plan something like a table topics contest or an evaluation contest or humorous contest, basically any contest that doesn't require a member to have completed certain educational goals, which is all the contests except for the international speech contest. Plan it in October, why not? Or plan 2 contests in October, because that will drive your renewals. If you plan them in October, you can tell people that yes, you can by all means participate in the table topics contest, you can participate in the humorous contest, in the tall tale contest, whatever project contest is there. You just have to file a little tiny renewal, and that will skyrocket your renewal numbers. I've personally experienced that. Make the contest easy. For example, evaluation and table topics are the easiest contests. Invite everyone who is participating, even if they come to 15 or 20, that means you get that many renewals. So yeah, try to use contests for various other purposes other than the contests themselves. My last plea to all of you is this: train, train, train. Train yourself, train the judges, train the participants. The more training you will do, the better your contest will be. And I believe all of us are very familiar with the feeling that we have, the feeling of a buzz after we have witnessed a particularly glorious Toastmasters meeting or contest. And the only way to ensure that feeling is that you train your participants, you train your contestants. So that brings to an end my presentation on speech contests. I will also urge all of you to go through and memorize, if you can, speech contest rule. Also, the rules for area and division and district contests are broadly similar except for the eligibility of judges. So that is the main point of difference. With that, I will now move on as Toastmaster Fahad Hashmi warned you. This will be my second 15-minute session, and again I'll set the timer. First, let me set the timer. Okay, so this session, which was originally to be conducted by our CGD Malik Umair, is about club sponsors, mentors, and coaches. So let me stop sharing this presentation. And let me just, yes, there are 3 different presentations on this, but I will not focus on the presentations right now. Instead, I will be sharing the presentations later with all of the participants as part of an email. I get this question a lot. What is the difference between a club coach and a club mentor? The answer is very simple. When you think club coach, you think about an existing club. An existing club that may be in trouble. An existing club that may need coaching. Whereas when you think about club mentoring, you think about a new club. That is a major point of difference. Why this distinction is important? Because let me tell you one thing. The club coach's assignment is comparatively the most difficult versus a club mentor and a club sponsor. So please keep that in mind while you're signing up for a role. If you plan to sign up, if you're consulting the CGT and your division leadership regarding signing up for a club coach role, then it is time that you first of all study the role in detail and then actually make that commitment. Because club coach is when a club has less than 10 members and it is not doing well, it is not meeting or not meeting regularly, or it's losing members. And yes, there are such clubs in every district, and there are such clubs in our districts as well. And I've just been corrected. Actually, I'm trying to open the presentation, but as usual, it's refusing to cooperate right now with me. Anyhow, okay. So, and what does a club coach have to do? The club coach's job is to take that to distinguished status. Just getting it to 20 will not be enough. Just adding 5 members will not be enough, but you will also have to take care of the educational goals. Because we all know that distinguished clubs cannot be achieved without fulfilling your education and training goals. So it is a great responsibility. It can also be a fun responsibility because you have gained a lot from the community. We all have. We all have gained immeasurably. And a club coach assignment is the perfect way to give back. Then we come to club mentorship. When a club is formed, when there's an application to organize filed, there are 4 slots. 2 slots are for club sponsors and 2 slots are for club mentors. What does a club mentor do? A club mentor actually trains the executive committee of the club. So there are materials for club mentor available on Toastmasters website. And again, I would show you if only my PowerPoint works, but apparently it's not. Anyhow, so yeah. So it is your job to actually train the club ex-con towards performing their duty. And this answers a question that was previously raised, that what if a club is formed after the club officer's training? For example, inshallah, and I'm hoping and praying that we suddenly have 10 clubs forming next month. So what will happen then? There are a couple of ways to go about. First of all, if there's a sizable number, of course, you can all approach me for training. The training can be conducted either at the district level or the division level or even the area level. All that is required is that the PQD and the district office shall be in loop about the training. So we should be knowing what training is going on. And secondly, it is club mentor's job to actually train the executive committee of the members. Not only that, they also need to attend the meetings. They also need to continuously guide the members. They also need to train them on pathways or at least arrange a training on pathways. So this is all the description of the duties of a club mentor. And there can be two club mentors. So you won't have to do anything yourself. You can actually share the duties, share the responsibilities with other Toastmasters who have the same level of dedication. Now, how do you enlist for a club coach or a club mentor? The answer is that you should be in constant contact with your area and division and district leadership. So for example, if your area is forming a new club, you should present yourself as a club mentor. If any club in your area requires coaching, you should present yourself as club coach. It's all about keeping in touch. It's all about continuously proving your credentials. It's all about continuously working so that, see, it's not just a crown that is placed upon your head, club coaching or club mentorship. It's a responsibility. And ultimately, it's a responsibility of the club board director to appoint club coaches and club mentors. Obviously, the club board director will not be in personal contact with all the clubs all the time. So they will be going by the recommendations of the area leadership or the division leadership, or perhaps they would be making a decision themselves as well based on knowledge. Whatever the case may be, you should prove yourself as a performer, and you should prove yourself as a person who will responsibly take this assignment rather than just putting on a label to get a credit, because that's not how it works. Both are tough assignments and both need to be taken very seriously. Okay, so I will briefly display a presentation. I've gotten it to work by renaming the extensions. And this is about club mentoring, new club mentoring. I believe everybody can see the slide. Toastmaster Park, can you confirm if you can see this slide? Yes, I've got once again a super fast confirmation from our ever vigilant district director. And thank you so much. Okay, so I just covered some of the topics here. A mentor is someone who shares his or her expertise and knowledge with one or more people who have less experience, right? So that's the definition of mentors. Okay. Okay. Just a second. Okay, we'll move to this part. Quality club meetings. Preparation, plan club meetings, club meeting programs, ideas and tools, create a member service. So, as club mentor, it is your job that the club executive committee performs all these functions, preparation and plan. Because remember, sometimes when a new club is formed, it will be completely new. They won't have any Toastmasters experience prior to this. So sometimes you will have to spoon feed them the very basics of a Toastmaster meeting. And yes, it sounds weird when you have to tell a president that what table topics is. But being patient, being accessible, being approachable, making your point across to people of all skill levels and backgrounds and prior learning levels, that is after all what Toastmasters is all about. So that is one part where you need to train, build and maintain membership. Obviously, all clubs start with 20 members, and for the first 6 months or so, it's not a big deal. But what happens when the time comes for renewal? A club mentor term lasts for 6 months. Okay, so potentially yes. When the time for renewal comes, you can just say goodbye and say, yeah, it was nice knowing you. And the president of the club can give you a certificate that yes, they have been mentored. But in terms of ethics, it is your duty to actually guide the club as to how to ensure renewals. And trust me, if you've done your role as a club mentor well, then you won't have any difficulty in renewals. Yes, I know first round renewals are not as easy as I'm making them sound. We are lucky if we get 8 to 10 members renewing within the timeline before April 30 or September 30. But we have to continuously work. We have the whole first year to rebuild the membership to a prior level. And some of the Toastmasters who will be very, very aware of this experience. So yes, be prepared for setbacks. But again, you can always count on your mentor to guide you through this difficult phase. Okay, so what benefit does club coach and club mentor have? First of all, it develops you as a leader. It develops you, allows you to put your skills to the test. And last but not the least, it gives you credit for the distinguished Toastmaster. Because in pathways, the DTM credit requires you to have done club coach or club mentor, either of those two. Okay. Secondly, what is a club sponsor? Club sponsor is a much simpler role. Okay. Club sponsor is someone who helps prepare the application to organize, who guides the club through the process of their formation. And then they can dissociate themselves, but their duty is not over until the club is actually chartered. And you have to help as a club sponsor towards that chartering. And Toastmasters DTM program actually requires you to have sponsored a club and mentored or / coached a club. How do you know the certification? First of all, if you're a sponsor or a club mentor, your name will automatically be in the Toastmasters database if you have them put at the time of application to either the club sponsor field or the club mentor field. But that is not the end of the story. After the club is chartered, the president needs to write to Toastmasters International that you're a sponsor. And after 6 months, the president needs to write to Toastmasters International that you have successfully completed your mentorship duties. Without that confirmation, Toastmasters International will not allow you credit. So be very careful. These are duties. These are not prizes. And yes, if they are prizes, they are being given to you as a result of your past service and performance. Remember, you're only as good as your latest speech. Your club is only as good as its latest meeting. You may have done great things in the past, but that does not give you an excuse to relax when you're given such a duty. Same goes for club sponsors. And in all these 3 categories, a member cannot be a club coach. A member cannot be a club mentor. Yes, there is an exception. Once they have been appointed a club leader. But membership is not a requirement. It's not a requirement at all. And once again, let me repeat that a club mentor or club coach cannot be an existing member. They have to come from outside. So that brings to a close my session on club mentor and club sponsors. And I'll be sharing further materials down the line with all of you. And I will take this opportunity to to remind that I'm floating the attendance and feedback sheet in the chat box. Please fill out this form and also give you feedback about what areas you would like to train in, because I have prepared a draft training calendar for the district, but I'm still working on it. We will finalize it together with the district PO and the division directors. And your feedback about what areas you want will help us tremendously identify the areas. Because let's face it, we all have limited time. And while we would like to carry out trainings for the entire 365 days, that's not possible. And we have to prioritize. We have to prioritize some things at the level of district, and then at the level of divisions, and at the level of areas. So that brings to an end my session on the club mentor and club coaches and club sponsors. And I believe, I hope that answered a lot of questions because of club mentorship. Okay, I have received a private question and I will just be answering this question. Other than that, you can contact me personally later after this training if you have any questions. You mentioned club mentors train the ex-form. If a new club is formed after the training round ended, can the club still receive the 1 DCP point for trainings, or is that point already lost? Okay, so I believe that point is lost because you cannot go back in time and place the ticks, but there are mechanisms. There can be a makeup training, and of course, let me just remind you that one training tick is not the end of the story. You can still achieve 9 or 10 goals without that one training tick. So if your club is formed, let's say in December or January, it's natural that you would have missed the earlier training round. But you should calibrate your progress in terms of the number of months that you formed, right? And secondly, let me also remind that if you have formed in December or September or February, the XCOM was actually the XCOM can carry forward to the next year. So it's the club's first full year that is counted towards DCP and everything. The partial year can only be calibrated. Yes, you can judge your performance, but nobody will blame you if you cannot reach distinguished club goals during the first year, especially if you have just a few months of formation. So with that, I'll now move to my third session, which is about the Toastmasters International Dashboard. And I'm grateful to DTM Zaid Kalia, who actually covered me for me. So I won't have to spend as much time on it, and I'll be sharing my browser. And please look, yeah. So Toastmaster Fahd, can you see the Toastmasters website?
Yes, we can see it.
Toastmaster Fahd? Okay,
yes, we
great.
can see it.
Okay. So first, okay, thank you so much. So first we log in, and you know what, Toastmasters website can be a little hard to navigate, but it provides a wealth of information. The most important and interesting aspect is that not only you can get information about your own club, your own area, your own division, your own district. The entire world is open before you. You can any club around the world and compare it with yours. So yes, I know they're not directly comparable, but sometimes it is good to see. For example, there's a club in Boston, and for example, it has a 70-member base. How they are doing in terms of certification versus how my home club is doing when we have 70 members. Are we at par? Are we exceeding them? Are we performing poorly versus them? It's all about making comparison, and there's absolutely nothing stopping you from getting their, asking them to share their secrets of success. So this is precisely the kind of interaction that Toastmaster enables. And honestly, I'm not aware of any other organization that does this. You can reach out to any Toastmasters, including the international president, over LinkedIn, over chat, or whatever. You can ask them a question and they will answer. So we go to District Central, and I believe that everybody is pretty much familiar. Okay, let's hope my internet works. Okay, so everybody's pretty familiar with their own distinguished performance report. Everybody, I believe, is also very familiar with the district's distinguished performance report. And if we go to the dashboard, yes. So now, when you land on this page, you can first see the district performance in terms of renewals. This is the first page. Because money, 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 that's the number one interest of Toastmasters. It's the leftmost division area performance. Here, you can see the division-wise and area-wise performance. And here you can also see if an area or division gets distinguished, the mark D or S or relevant mark will appear against them. And then this is the most interesting for me because it summarizes not only the renewal situation, but the membership situation, and also the educational award situation. So this to me is the most useful. And you can again see, you can break it down. You can also export it into Excel and run your numbers, as our district director is very fond of doing, and he's been doing it. So you can export it into Excel and analyze this data in any way you want. So these are the conventional charts. And then there's this magic button called, two magic buttons actually. One is called daily reports and one is called additional reports. Now this interface will remind you of maybe late 90s Oracle or something, but trust me, it is the most useful page on Toastmasters. So you click on your district name, and if you see on the left, you can see all the districts. So if you so desire, you can easily compare yourself in the other districts. So for example, right now, we have 30 paid clubs. So we are 36th in the world. In terms of membership payment, we are 90th in the world. In terms of distinguished clubs, we are number one for some reason. But again, this particular section takes some time to update. So take it with a grain of salt and wait for a few weeks after the end of a month, 2 or 3 weeks, and then it will represent with you with a fair picture. So we are 7th in terms of paid clubs. We are 8th in terms of membership payments, and we are 1st in terms of distinguished clubs in the region. So that provides you with a good breakdown of, and then how many clubs have met how many goals, and then there's this ratio of area and division. It's a wealth of information. These are the clubs that need coaches, and then top 10 clubs with the highest education award percentage, and we see UE as the top 7 education awards versus July 1 base of 8. So again, a very, very interesting group of statistics that we can monitor. And then there are the daily reports. Now, what are the daily reports? These are the Triple Crown winners. These are the educational achievements, officers list, renewal status. Again, these are updated daily. And as PQD, I will be keeping an eye on the education achievements because this will give me a bird's eye view of all the clubs and their educational achievements. So this is one of the metrics that I need to monitor. So obviously I'll be keeping an eye on it. Then again, Triple Crown, if we have some Triple Crown winners already, let's see. Oh yes, we have already, wow. So already we are barely into the second month and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 Triple Crown winners. So I believe if yes, I know our finance manager is listening. So Mr. Finance Manager set aside a huge budget for certificates and trophies this year because inshallah, it looks like we'll be outdoing the last year. So that is your dashboard. And one piece of research that I recently read was that what helps hurts weight loss the most. Although here we are in the business of gaining weight, not losing. We are in the business of attracting new members. We are in the business of gaining new clubs. We are in the business of gaining certifications and club goals. So everything is about gain. And we are not in the business of losing. We are not losing one single club. And I'm so thrilled to see that this year, 2 of our clubs that had died previously are coming back. Nothing could be more pleasing. Nothing could be a better start to the year, and that adequately reflects the spirit that we all have for this year. So, but going back to my analogy, if you put a weighing machine in your house, it has been said that it is very effective in, if not ensuring weight loss, then at least preventing weight gain. If you weigh yourself every day or every other day, you will have a better control on your eating, on your fitness, and yes, that's psychological thing. So, as area director, as club leader, as division director, as a trio member, if we consult this at least once or twice a week and compare it where at our respective levels, for example, I'll be comparing where our district stands versus other districts. An a division director will be comparing the divisions and also divisions around the world. What's stopping them? You can see, you can step into District 1 or even District 1 and see how many divisions they have, how many areas their divisions have, how many goals they have achieved. And it will, trust me, once you get lost statistics, it is very, very interesting. So that is how you can use the club dashboard. And with that, I will bring this particular session to a close. And again, you can direct your questions at me in the chat box, or you can send them later to me regarding any of the things that I discussed. I'll be handing over the charge now to our Master of Ceremonies. Over to you, Toastmaster Fahad.
Thank you very much, distinguished Toastmaster Talab and Hamid. You were amazing, and how you managed this time with 3 sessions was simply amazing. We couldn't see it a very long session. Rather, it was very interesting, and some really practical tips across all the 3 sessions were there, and we were all engaged in it. So we did not feel the time. The heat of the time was not felt at all. So I take my words back. It was a good news for us that you were here with us for the entire 40 minutes, and we really enjoyed. As DTM Tal also mentioned, yes, at Toastmasters, we do everything with motivation, with courage, with determination, with focus, but there are certain things which are still left undone until we have good finances. Finances play an important part in each and every organization of the world, be it a profitable organization or a not-for-profit organization, because there are certain tasks which are done only by the presence of a good financial facility available. This is the reason why there is a whole setup of the payments at Toastmasters, then getting the credits back from the Toastmasters towards the districts, and then using those finances, although very limited, but using those finances in a way to further motivate our members and the people in our Toastmasters family to perform even better. So without waiting for a moment, I would like to call upon our next speakers for the next session. And the next session is going to be really interesting, something about numbers, something that we all love to listen. Most of us are accountants, so yes, this is something which belongs to us, district finances, and how we are all responsible. Whether you are a district director or a division director or an area director or even someone from the club, finances is something we all have to manage every day, each day in and out. So this is our responsibility. When we have finances with us, when we are the managers of those finances, then we need to be very, very responsible when it comes to finances. So for this session, I would like to call upon, we have 2 speakers for the session, and this session will be jointly conducted by distinguished Toastmaster Rashid Dastagir, who is currently serving as the Division Director of Division B, and Toastmaster Adnan Khogar, who is the Finance Manager, the most powerful person right now when it comes to finances. So he's working as a finance manager for District 122TC So I would like to welcome both of them. Please put your hands together and join me in welcoming these two professionals. And over to you, DTM Rashid Dastagir, for another amazing session ahead.
Thank you, Paul. There's a one question. DTM Rashid Dastagir is not available, so I'm conducting the whole session.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough.
I would like to ask you to let me to share my presentation first. Okay. So, thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. And good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, members of Excelcom, guests, ladies and gentlemen. The message we are issuing today is very clear. Yes, we can. And we have a number of presentations about the district success plan. But let us remember one thing, that we are strong as our health system is. The way we keep our life easy is how we make our life successful. We have made a good start in developing the district success plan, which is based on the principles and the mission of the Toastmaster International. We all have social and moral commitments in building new clubs, supporting each other in achieving the excellence. Today, we are going to discuss about the district finances, and we will also discuss that how we all are responsible. If we just look at the mission of district, it says we build new clubs, support all clubs in achieving the excellence. But in achieving the objectives, we need the resources and the financial to serve the community. And Toastmaster International offers a great educational program where it empowers the leaders from its own community to serve. That's why the district funds are the Toastmaster International funds, whether they are coming from clubs, areas, regions, or conferences, or even from the events. They are the funds of Toastmaster International. And districts must apply financial controls to ensure proper stewardship of these funds. Now, we will discuss how we are responsible. There are 4 areas of considerations. The number 1, the governing documents, the finance policy and protocols, the reporting, the best practices we need to adopt. And now today, we are going to discuss briefly about these things, that what are the governing documents of Toastmaster International. The first is the Article of Incorporation and Bylaws of Toastmaster International. Then there's a document for district administrative bylaws, the club constitution for clubs of Toastmaster International, the policy and protocol. And this is one of the most important document I would like to have that everyone should read it. This is which is available in the district policy and protocol. These are available in the district handbook. Today we will discuss about the policy and protocols, and in that we will briefly look at what are the club and district assets, revenue and fundraising, the district expenses that we were just talking about, that our PPD has mentioned that I'd be ready for that. So we will going to discuss that where we need to expense these budgets. That the 4th thing is the district financial management. And if we just look at the club and district asset, we see that the district assets are the property of Toastmaster International. District may only own or rent assets necessity to facilitate the Toastmaster program. And if you have any asset, we have to report it back to the headquarters. We are the custodian of that assets. And now we just look at what are and from where the revenues and funds we are going to have. Previously, there are a number of significant changes in this year we are facing that the Toastmaster International has introduced that previously the district receives 25% of the every dollar World Headquarters receive from clubs within the district. But now we are going to receive 25% of the membership revenue only. There is a significant drop in that revenue. Toastmasters International is a non-profit organization. Therefore, whatever funds we receive can be used for the betterment of the members and in achieving the Toastmaster objective. Toastmasters International has described that whatever budget we plan, it should be aligned with the district success plan. And our PQD has also informed that we have already completed this task. So we are going to align our budget with district success plan. In order to achieve these goals, Toastmaster had made classification with maximum expense limit as follows. They have classified all the expenses in these. These are the major classifications. The number one is the education and training. Whatever budget we will receive, we need to expense on these classifications. The number one is the education and training. That carries the weightage of 15%. Marketing outside Toastmasters. And you can see there is a limit for the 15%, 5 to 10%. Club growth, 0 to 5%. Public relations, 0 to 10%. Recognition, this is what PPD Tala was talking about, that you can spend up to 0 to 20% of the budget. There's a 25% weightage for the travel, 0 to 15% for lodging, food and meals. Speech contest, which is conducted by the district, is the 5% weightage. Administration is 0 to 10%. It is the fiduciary responsibility of the district director and the director responsible that the district funds are appropriately managed. Therefore, TMI help out the district director and they prioritize the expenses. We have just seen in the last slide, and they made the 2 tiers. Any guess from you? What would be the first expense we have in our tier 1? Tier 1 is the most important tier that every district has to expense the budget on these items. Any guess? Okay, no guess?
Public relations.
Yes. Any more?
I think marketing, because they've asked us to spend at least 5%.
Okay. Anyone else? Any guess?
Trainings.
Okay. So now I will share the priorities. Then I said this is an education program. And we are forgetting that the most important expense we are going from our budget is the education and training. The second is the marketing outside Toastmasters. Third, club growth and club retention. Fourth, membership growth and membership retention. The fifth one, the district communication and public relation. Any idea for the tier 2? Hurry up. Yes, we are running short of the time, please. What are the least important areas for the expenditure you are going to expense on from the budget?
Contest.
Travel.
Yes. Okay.
Honoraria for the area directors and district directors.
The first thing is the recognition. Then the travel and lodging, food and meals, speech contests conducted by district, and the fifth one is administrative and district meetings. Now, at the end of the day, we are always accountable. For that, we need to provide information about the utilization of the funds. Therefore, there are the number of reports we need to provide to the headquarters. I'm just going to share a brief about that, and because we have the finance calendar with us, I'm going to share this, that we need to share monthly profit and loss statements. In the month of July, we are supposed to develop the calendar of district events. We are fortunate, we have already prepared and uploaded. In the month of August, we will just need to finalize the budget. For that, I have sent the templates for the PQD, CGD, PR manager, admin manager, and I hope that I'm going to receive in a day or so, because we are just running short of time. We need to submit, we need to present the budget for the district's com, and then send it to the Toastmaster International Quarter for their approval. And from there, then we will present it again and get it approved from the district. That is in the month of September. Then we will able to expense out our expenditure from the budget. In the month of February, we need to present the mid-year audit report. April, the third quarter of the profit and loss statement we need to present. May is the final month of our program, because in June we have a number of tasks to be performed, accrual and inventory template, voucher for reimbursement, and a lot of things. It's all happening with your support. And now, how can we achieve this task? We need to perform the best practices. And if we just look at the core value of Toastmaster International, it provides there are the 4 areas: integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And how can we achieve these things? And how can we build in our lives? Now I'm going to share with you that in the operational protocol, if we follow the operational protocols, we can achieve this. The first thing is the use of budgets as per Toastmaster International mission, which is building new club, supporting each other in achieving the excellence. Use fund for the betterment of the members. Use fund for the support of the clubs. And for that, you need to get a pre-approval expenses from the district director and finance manager. There are certain limitations that the Toastmaster International has provided. Avoid incurring unacceptable expenditure. If you are going to spend some Toastmaster money on yourself, your personal life, it's not going to be reimbursed, simply. Avoid conflict of interest. You cannot order yourself for any services or any asset you are going for the Toastmaster for your district. You need to adhere the budgeted limits. And the most importantly, timely submission of expenditure for reporting. Because we have a reserve fund with the Toastmaster International, and we are going to withdraw those funds on the monthly basis. The timely submission of reimbursement vouchers. Please remember, if you do not submit your reimbursement voucher on the timely, it's gone. You cannot say after 1 month or 2 months that these are my expenditure, please reimburse me. No, it's not going to do that. Once we submit our details in the Toastmaster International system, it cannot be reverted back, registered. So be careful for that. In order to achieve the excellence, we need to be very careful, and we need to adhere the financial protocol we have just discussed. With that, I would like to share that this one thing, that the voucher for reimbursement, this is a detail you can see. This is a detailed voucher. It provides your membership number, your district number, your mailing address, the month of expense, the currency amount, the objective of the expenditure. And they will link it with our calendar we have uploaded in the site. So be careful in doing that. With that, I have at the end of my presentation, if you have any question, please go forward and ask me. I'm here. And you can contact me at my email, and my phone number is there. Any question from you, please? No? When there is no, it means everyone is okay. With that, I will hand over control the master of ceremony, Fahad. Over to you, Mr. Fahad. Thank you.
All right, thank you, our Honorable Toastmaster, Mr. Adnan Khogar, for presenting us all the procedures for dealing with the finances. And I'm sure all of us are now feeling more responsible when it comes to finances. And we need to, know the priorities, that where to spend and where not to spend. So it was a good and amazing and interesting session, by the way, because numbers are always interesting. Okay, so moving on now, apparently the speaker of our district office spring today is the district director himself, and he will be conducting 2 consecutive sessions. So I will not be disturbing him in between. So first session that he is going to conduct will be on youth leadership and speechcraft, and the other session that he's going to conduct will be screen sharing cost. Okay. And the other session he will be conducting will be about the district success plan and how it links to the division and the area success plan. So with all the gratitude and wholeheartedly, I would like to welcome our dynamic district director of District 122TC, distinguished Toastmaster, Mr. Zunair Zafar, to please join us in the training and conduct these 2 sessions one after the other. I would repeat the first one relating to youth leadership and speechcraft, and the next one, district success plan, which is apparently going to be the last session of the training. After that, we're going to have the question and answer session by the district trio. So over to you, DTM Zunair.
Thank you, Director Fahad Hashmi. Let me share my slide here with everyone. Okay, so this is something new that I'm trying, and you can also learn about it. This is sharing a presentation as your virtual background, something that is available in the new version. Okay, so first of all, why are we conducting and sharing this? I hope you can see the whole of the screen. Can anyone tell me if you can or not?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It was better before. No.
When you
zoom out, please.
Yeah, when you zoomed out, it was better. Yeah.
Like this?
Now we can. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So now the whole screen is covered, but now I have to stand back or sit back from the screen, not an issue. Okay, so first of all, why are we sharing youth leadership program and speechcraft with the division and area directors? First things first, both of these programs, youth leadership program and speechcraft programs, are to be conducted by the clubs, not by the district divisions or the areas. These are to be performed only by the club. But the reason for sharing with you guys is because you can support the clubs whenever they are facing any problem. And we felt that at this stage, giving the clubs, we are giving them too much to absorb, and probably this will be too much for them to handle. But whenever they are facing any problem, and as area directors, division directors, you will get an understanding of that quite early. So what you can do is you can to go through these and practice this and the kind of benefits that these programs can offer. So, starting with why and what's the benefit. If you remember the distinguished Toastmaster requirements, which are on the screen right now, there is a club extension which every Toastmaster is required to do before they can become a distinguished Toastmaster. And there are three things in it. Either you can become a club sponsor, the thing that already our PQB has covered, or there are two other things. You can be a speechcraft coordinator or a youth leadership coordinator, and they will be equivalent to serving as a club sponsor. Now, you already know what a club sponsor does, and I'll be covering the remaining two things. What does a speechcraft coordinator do, and what does a youth leadership coordinator do, and what are these programs? Starting with the youth leadership program, it is basically a workshop. It can be over 8 sessions, and they can be, 1 or 2 sessions, more or less. Every session is 1 to 2 hours each, limited to 25 people participants, and all of them have to be below the age of 18 years to participate in youth leadership program. Because for more than 18 years, you have speechcraft and the clubs that are available. Because you might know that not to be a member of Toastmasters International, you have to be more than 18 years of age, and it can be conducted anytime during or after the school or on weekends, but it's primarily done outside the club meeting. So imagine if you have any school nearby where you feel that the kids there can benefit from it, then you can go to their school and conduct these sessions after, of course, getting permission from the school administration. Requirements. What are the things required if you want to conduct this youth leadership program? First of all, there needs to be a youth leadership coordinator, a person that is responsible, and that person gets the credit towards their DTM. There may be other people assisting the person, the coordinator, but it is this one person who is responsible for everything, for the conduct of the youth leadership program, for the quality and everything around it. That person has to be a Toastmaster in good standing. So, and must have completed 6 speeches, and I think that converts into the pathway scheme as 2 levels completed. I'm not sure about the update requirement after the pathways, what the youth leadership program requirement is, but most probably it's either level 2 or maybe level 3. And there has to be a sponsoring Toastmasters club. A Toastmaster without a club or without involving their club cannot do it. They have to involve a club which will be the sponsor of this youth leadership program. And let me share what does that mean. What does becoming the club becoming a sponsor mean? Um, Okay, that will come later. But first of all, you can't charge the kids or the participants of the youth leadership program. It has to be free for them, only for their benefit, and the club must be sponsoring it. As a sponsor club, what they'll be doing is that they will pay for all the kits, all the requirements of this program, if any of the printouts are required, or maybe a travel is required to reach that destination, and if it is being reimbursed, then all of those charges will be coming out from the sponsoring club and cannot be charged from the participants. So this is okay. Let me move to the upper side. Yeah, so this is an overview of what the 8 sessions look like. They are pretty structured. Every session has its own requirements, starting from an introduction to introduction to public speaking, impromptu, organizing, etc. And right down there on the session 8, it is show your skills. This can be a big event that you can organize after you have had these 7 sessions, which means probably 7 weeks, which is almost like 2 months of 15 or 16 hours of work. And towards the end, you can organize a big event. You can invite the parents of these kids, and the kids can then display their skills that they have learned throughout the program, deliver any speeches or perform anything that they want to do during that session. Or it could be a demo meeting for a given club that you might want to start with these students. If these kids get really interested and they're less than 18 years of age, they can form their own Gavel club. Or maybe a year or two later, when they do reach the age of 18, they can join a regular Toastmasters club. Or any of the parents or siblings who join this session, they might get impressed from the skills that their relatives have gained, and they might decide to join a Toastmasters club. So this is that last session where you can display what has been achieved and the benefits of this youth leadership program. So why conduct a youth leadership program? First of all, you have to understand that youth leadership program focuses on giving the best value to or making a contribution to the lives of these children below the age of 18, because you believe that these are the leaders of the future, and they will benefit a lot by gaining these skills at an early stage, because we all know learning at a younger age is much quicker as compared to when people reach our ages. So getting these kids involved and interested in communication and leadership will definitely help them in their lives. Also, it serves as a program or a service which will benefit club growth. So, like I said, maybe the parents or the siblings of these kids will get to know about Toastmasters and join a Toastmasters club. Also, community service. Your club will be recognized as contributing back to the community. So, these are many of the benefits of a youth leadership program. And the clubs might want to do it, but only when there is a member who is interested. For example, a member wants to complete their DTM and they don't see any chance of any club being sponsored right now. So they might opt for a youth leadership program. And the kind of skills that they will gain from this program will definitely help them becoming a better leader and a communicator. Jumping to the second thing, which is the Speechcraft program, which has something similar and something different from the youth leadership program. First of all, it's again either a workshop or a seminar type program, as compared to the 8 sessions that are required in youth leadership. In Speechcraft, it can be 4 sessions, 6 sessions, or 8 sessions. And also it's limited to 5 to 10 people. Youth leadership program can have up to 25 kids in one session or one program. But in Speechcraft, it's more limited. One coordinator with 5 to 10 people. That's the limit that's set. If you have more than 10 people interested, then you need to have more than one coordinator. These participants will be more than 18 years of age, and it can be conducted either during a meeting or extension of a meeting, let's say half an hour to 1 hour right after the meeting, or outside the club meeting. It can be conducted in any way, because these are all adults. They can come and be part of a club meeting as well and get benefit from the Speechcraft program. The requirements, again, it requires approval of the club executive committee. Club executive committee has to approve that their club will be conducting the Speechcraft program. And when I said club will be conducting, again, only the club can conduct a Speechcraft program. Areas, divisions, districts cannot conduct these Speechcraft programs. So if you are interested, if you see an opportunity, you can go and motivate one of your clubs to look into it and try to sponsor or get their members interested in running a Speechcraft program. So after approval of club executive committee, it can be conducted. And likewise, the youth leadership program, there has to be a Speechcraft coordinator responsible for similar things: quality of the program, conducting it, and making sure that things go as per plan. Benefits: it is a membership building tool. When you conduct a Speechcraft program, of course, these will be conducted for people who are outside the Toastmasters, who are not members. So they might see the benefit and want to join. Or you can use it to revive a struggling club, because maybe the club has gone down to 8 or 10 members, and now you are bringing back to 20 or re-energizing the club. It can be a club building tool. Maybe you grow your club to a level where it can then be split, or maybe you are conducting a huge program with more than one coordinator. Then towards the end, you get an interest survey done from the members or the participants of the programs, and you can find more than 20 people who are interested. So it might lead to starting a new club. One club, the E-Member Toastmasters Club, was started after a successful speechcraft program conducted by one of the clubs. And the last one, most important thing, it can be a fundraising tool. Yes, like I said, youth leadership program, you cannot charge any money from the participants, but speechcraft programs are different. It can be used as a fundraising tool. So the participants within a speechcraft program can be charged for attending a speechcraft program. However, this money can only go either towards the cost of the speechcraft program, meeting the cost, or towards the club fund. Individuals cannot benefit it from it. Areas division directors again cannot conduct the speechcraft program or raise any funds on their level. It can only be done to raise funds for the clubs amongst many other activities which are mentioned within the charter or the governing documents. This is one of the activities that can be done. And this is an extract from the club, from the governing documents. I'll just briefly tell you what it says. It says that there are a number of activities that can be done to raise funds. Amongst them is the speechcraft program, and along with that, the fee that can be charged also has a limit. So if you want to charge a fee which is higher than 12 months of Toastmaster Club fee, which at the moment is $90, then you have to seek permission from Toastmasters International. Which means if you want to run a program and you want to charge, let's say, 8,000 rupees, which is currently less than 12 months of Toastmasters fee, then you are free to do that. It can be even lower. So whatever fee you want to charge, you can charge that fee and you can use it for raising funds for the club. Other than that, the only thing that's mentioned is that if there's any violation in the fundraising protocol, then it's subject to disciplinary action. So I would recommend to go and read whatever is written about raising funds there. And just a side note, why raise funds for the clubs? Well, you can utilize those funds again for the benefit of your members, giving them certificates, giving them plaques, giving them recognition for their achievements, or maybe for conducting regular meetings, maybe buying a banner for your Toastmasters club, which is quite expensive. If you order from Toastmasters International, it's something of the tune of 10, 11,000 rupees. And or any other things that you want to buy, any stationery or anything that you want to buy for your club, you can use the funds raised for any of those things. So this brings me to the end of this part. Now, again, getting back to why we are sharing all of this, because these are some avenues that at the moment our clubs are not utilizing. These can be used to, of course, like I mentioned, as a fun, as a club growth activity, as a membership activity, but also to give opportunity to the members of the clubs to get involved and do some practical utilization of the skills that they are learning within the clubs. These programs offer leadership opportunities to the members, not only for becoming a DTM, but also for learning and bringing their learnings into practice. So these, and to reignite the fun or the excitement within a club. So if you feel that any club is facing any of the issues, maybe they're short of funds, maybe their members lack interest, maybe they have less than the required number of members, or maybe their members are not following their educational programs. These are some of the opportunities that can reignite all of that. So if you feel any of these problems being faced by a club, you can recommend them to look into these programs. When you are going to do or run these programs, do get in contact with the district, because although you don't need permission, but definitely you can utilize from the resources available with the district, primarily the support that you can get. And we will be, it's been briefly mentioned that we are going to have a lot of committees, but amongst those committees, there will be a committee to deal with youth leadership program and the speechcraft program, and these will be the people who will be supporting the members who will be running these programs. And if you are interested yourself in running a program, do join that committee and be a member of it. And again, it can only be run and conducted by a club, so the clubs have to take the lead here. So if there are any questions on these things, we can answer these questions. But after the session towards the end, we have a question answer round. So now I'll move to the next thing that I was supposed to cover, which is the district success plan and how it links with the division and area success plans. So let me stop sharing this screen. Great. Okay, so first of all, planning, if it has been mentioned more than once today, if you are not planning, then that's planning to fail. And how do Toastmasters plan? We make our success plans, club success plans, area, division, and then district success plans. And all of these plans then go to Toastmasters International, who then look at all of these plans, particularly the district success plans that they look into, and they plan their activities accordingly to see how their clubs and districts are performing. And in order to have a plan at all level that works, we all of us have to be aligned. So the district calendar was shared some time ago. It's still on the website, and I'm sharing that link here on in the chat. So what I want all of you to do is click on that link, go on the calendar, and tell me what are the activities that are to be performed in the month of August, or right after 16th. Today is the 16th. The chat is on, and I'm opening the mics as well. So have a look and tell me what are the activities that we are to perform around these days.
Area council meetings are due.
Area council meetings, and when are those?
They were supposed to be conducted by August 14, ideally. So we are,
Okay.
they're overdue, I guess.
Okay. Anything else that we are required to do around these days?
Submission of success plan.
Sorry, didn't get that?
Annual convention on 29th.
Well, that's happening on 29th, yeah. On 17th of August, there's something that is mentioned there.
Yeah.
Can anyone tell me? Yeah, area club visits. So why do we have this calendar? We have this calendar to align all of our activities. Now you are not mandated, it's not mandatory for you to start all the activities or conduct all the activities on the mentioned dates. It's ideal for some of these things. It's a deadline given by Toastmasters International, particularly for the things that were mentioned by the finance manager. For getting the budgets, there are certain things that have to be done on certain dates. And if we go beyond that, then we will run into problem because we might not be getting the similar amount of funds. But for other things, for example, club area visits, the date that has been mentioned there is not the required date or the deadline, it's the recommended date. The deadlines are given by Toastmasters International. They are available within the leadership handbooks. But these are the dates that are mentioned there, or the area council meetings. All of these are mentioned so that we can all align our activities in a way that we are going hand in hand, and no one is left behind, and everyone is supported in the same way. Because if we are, conducting our activities and all of them are aligned, we will get better leverage. So if in case you have not conducted your area council meeting, that's fine. You can still conduct that. If you haven't yet planned your area visits, then you can start doing that. But try to go and have a look at this calendar at least every alternate week, so that you can see which are the activities that you are required to do, which are the upcoming activities that you need to plan, which are the things that your clubs need to do, so that you can also support your clubs and tell them that, hey, this is the thing that if you should try to perform in the next month, so that if they perform their activities on time, areas will be able to perform their activities on time, and so on. So why am I mentioning all of this? Because it's all aligned with our success plans. Most of our clubs have developed their club success plans, and those are shared by all the area directors yesterday, which is an amazing thing, because it shows that all of the clubs have gone back, looked into what their current situation is, and planned a bit. Those may not be the perfect plans, but at least those are plans, and at least some thought process has started. And when all of those success plans, club success plans, are available with the areas, now the areas, they need to plan their activities according to the plans of these clubs. If you have a club that is struggling with membership, how are you going to support that as an area director? If there's any club which is doing great, how are you going to benefit from such a great club? And how are you going to challenge them in something even trickier, something even more difficult? So utilize all of those things. Go through those those club success plans. Develop your area success plans, and then based on those area success plans, there's a deadline again. If you look at the calendar, we have given you a not so relaxed deadline for finalizing your area success plans, which will then go to the divisions, and then the division directors will develop their division success plans. And all of these success plans, clubs, areas, and divisions will then be handed over to the district, and the district will develop their district success plan. If you have done an activity of building a success plan, you would know that it's something that you can do sitting in your room within 30 minutes to 40 minutes. It's not that tricky. You can do it on your own. However, that plan may not get into practice because it's something that only you are perceiving. And this is a team effort. All of these plans have to be aligned to be successful. So use those plans that you have received and give your plans in a timely manner to the next level, so that then that person can plan according to your plans. And that's the thing that we require. So our district success plan has to be approved by the has to go to the XCOM and the council, and then it has to be submitted to Toastmasters International. And there are timelines. If we don't get your plans on time, then we'll be left with no option but to develop our own plans, sitting in our room and working quietly on our computer. But that plan will be simply our plan, and whatever you may be able to think of something good, it might not be included in that. So give us your plans timely. And some things that I mentioned yesterday as well, think of something creative. If you have some new clubs upcoming, how are you going to support these new clubs? Are some kind of trainings required? And for those trainings, what kind of resources are required? Although most of the things are running online these days, but some kind of recognition might be required. So there are districts, for example, who support new club formation with giving the club a banner. I'm not suggesting that we do that, but there are many ways of recognizing anything that is being done within a district and acknowledging them and supporting them. Also, there are many forms of marketing and PR activities that can be done around all of this. So share your plans so that we can plan our activities while keeping in a sight of what the divisions and areas and the clubs are planning. Now, what I'm going to do is, instead of start keeping talking about all these plans, let's move towards a more interactive session. We plan to have a question answer session, so let's extend that if we can. Put this time in that as well, because I think we can learn more if we hear from you what kind of things you have in your mind and start answering those questions. So I'll request Talha to put the timer down and bring his face up, and everyone is free to unmute themselves, and they can also write on the chat. And let's have an interactive session now. Let's talk heart to heart and discuss whatever any concern anyone is facing, and we'll try to respond to that and learn from each other.
It was more fun behind the timer.
I know, I've been doing that. Who wants to go first?
Okay, can I? Being the master of the ceremony?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Deacon Zunair, your presentation on that youth leadership program was really wonderful, and I guess it should have been presented to the club presidents as well, because it was something more related to the club. So if you can share the presentation with us in our council meetings, we can do that with the presidents and VPMs and VPs, but that's going to be very, very effective for them. Because some club presidents are not here as a DOT program today. Some of them are here, obviously, but I think it's good if they know it. Apart from that, it was wonderful, and it gave us something which we did not know about. I had no idea about this, so that was a very good thing, and we all can go for that youth leadership program. So that was very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fahad. Okay, there's a question about the Facebook Live recording. Where is it available? It's available on our Facebook district page, which is District 122 Pakistan.
Yes. We will
Okay, so
also.
there is to the club presidents.
will
Yeah, it can be shared. The recording can be shared with the club presidents.
Yeah.
But I think a more heart-to-heart discussion with the area directors might be more useful and more relevant to them, because these programs might not work at this stage for some of the clubs, because every club has a unique circumstance, and also we had to limit our club officer training to a certain time, and we still want to do many other things that we had to
Yeah.
cut down. We'll probably cover in the second half. But during that time, the area and division directors can support the clubs by telling them that these are the activities that can be done.
And obviously, you can always draw on us, draw on myself and district director and the CDD. If you want any input or any training or any advice, we are always available. So, anyone
Okay, so
else?
I see some problems with the mics. What I'm going to do, everyone, I'm going to unmute everyone, and then I request everyone to mute themselves again.
Yes.
Because what I'm going to do is, with the click of this button, there will be an uproar, and we don't want that. So all of you are required to mute yourselves, and then you can unmute yourself whenever you want to talk. Okay. How?
DTM Zunair, you can also do one.
Sorry, I muted everyone.
Yeah.
Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. That's fine then. That's fine.
Okay. So yeah, who wants to go next?
Zunair, my question was, who will be getting the credit of Speechcraft program, because it's being sponsored by the club as a whole.
It's a
And
Speechcraft
who will be
coordinator.
getting the credit?
Speechcraft coordinator is that person who is responsible for organizing the whole program, running it. Although he or she will not be the only person during this. There
Excuse
will
me,
be
you
other
are not
coordinators
audible.
or support people. Come again? So the coordinator will be the person who will get the credit towards their DC program.
Okay. Actually, okay, just to repeat, actually, Ghulam Abbas said that he couldn't hear Zunair. So, the Speechcraft program coordinator will get the credit for the Speechcraft program. That's the answer. Okay.
I believe there are many Speechcraft coordinator in the Speechcraft program. Everyone will be getting the credit. Is that right?
Coordinator. So, like I mentioned, speech. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Your voice is a little muted, but I can hear you at least.
Okay, I'll try to be slow.
Yeah.
If there are more than one Speechcraft coordinators, then all of those Speechcraft coordinators will get the credit. So 5 to 10 members per coordinator. No more than 10 participants per coordinator. So if you have, let's say, 50 people, there have to be 5 coordinators, which means 5 Speechcraft programs are being run. And those 5 people get the credit.
Okay, I'll also remind everyone taking this opportunity to please fill out the form. And this is the form, the attendance and feedback form. So, yes, so any more, who else who would like to go next?
Can I?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, my question is related to the district budget. I just want to know what's the process of budget making and how does it get approved? And is there any input that is required from areas? Because of course it all boils down to clubs and areas. So how does the whole process works? Thank you.
The process is the same as we do in our companies.
Zunair, your voice is a little muted.
I answered it. Actually, district director, QPD, CGD, and the finance manager are responsible for making the district budget. But as in our district, we have introduced that we ask for the budget proposal from the respective people. And we requested them to please discuss with your division directors and area directors and for the budget proposals. This is the first time we have introduced even in the Toastmaster. I have attended on Thursday a meeting with the three districts. They were surprised to know that you are getting the proposal from the other people's. Yeah, yes, because they are the people. Because the budget is turning down to them. That's uh, I am fortunate that I have received the proposal from PQD only. The CGD, I'm waiting for that. The PR manager, the admin managers, we as district director, Zinaz Zafar, we discussed that we need to empower the people. We have
I would like
your
to add something
proposal
to that.
welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, so it does involve everyone. Although there are certain persons responsible, but the plans that you will be sharing, they will help us in developing the budget. So if you put in something that you feel is required either for recognition, for support of the clubs, which will help the clubs excel, because a district has two basic missions: build new clubs and help our clubs achieve excellence. Anything that is supporting these two objectives will be part or can be part of the district's plan. And the district's plan then gets converted into the district's budget. So whatever plans you give in your success plans, area and division success plans, we will try to include in the district success plan and accordingly build our budget. I hope I covered that point.
I think, yeah, I think there's still a bit of sort of vagueness about it, but I think I pretty much get the idea. So the respective people will be getting in touch with the specific areas to get their input.
No, you
And
have
then
to
the
give
areas
your
will get
input
in touch with
yourself.
clubs.
You have to give your input yourself within your success plan. We will not be able to ask everyone about everything, but if there is any suggestion that you have, we'll definitely, love to hear that. So if you feel there is something.
But Zunair, with due respect, it should be communicated, right?
Come again?
It should be communicated, because if we don't know about it, how are we going to give our input?
Yeah, so that's what we are doing right now. We are communicating. Look, the thing is, we are at the moment trying to develop our budget. But what does a budget require? For the budget to exist, you first need to have a plan. You can't put in numbers that, hey, I'm going to spend this much on this thing and this much on this thing without knowing what you intend to do. So everything that we are doing right now, from developing our calendar to developing the plans within the areas, clubs, areas, division, districts, everything is there to help us develop a budget. When we know what we need to do, only then we can plan how we are going to spend our money. So if you look at the area, club and area success plans, on all of these plans, there is mentioned resources. Under resources, you need to mention what you need to be able to do this thing. Either you need human resource, either you need some kind of financial support. These resources will then come and help us in developing a budget. Now, budget, the way it's developed, of course, it's a tentative plan. For example, right now we don't know when COVID situation will end, when will we start having total in-person meetings. We don't know that. So it will be tentative, but there might be certain things that we will put in right from the start. For example, how will we recognize our members with some kind of awards? That's something that we need to do right now. So all the members who become DTM, how will we recognize them? Other than, of course, we can make a poster, but maybe we can give them a memento. For all the clubs who become distinguished, how will we celebrate them? If any of the club executive committee members have performed exceptionally, what are we going to do? Maybe we are going to give them those pins that every member, every XCOM can have. So those pins will then need to be bought, which costs something, an amount. So all of these things need to be planned, and based on those plans, those budgets are developed within the limits, of course. So for we can't go on and ask, hey, in your area you are going to have an area contest. What's the cost? Because that's something that you are already going to tell us, that you are going to plan certain things, and that's the way things work. The information coming in the form of success plans then gets developed or translated into financial terms, and then the budget is developed. That budget, by the way, before the final approval, has to go through the XCOM. So we develop a budget, we bring that budget back to the XCOM, where all the areas and division directors are, who to take it forward to the council. Then all the clubs who are present there, they approve that budget and send it to, and then
I believe there's some connectivity issue at Zunair's end.
suggestions.
Yeah, he's back. Okay, I would like to add to what Zunair said. First of all, the budget is governed by the district success plan. The district success plan is made with the feedback from division and areas. Okay, budget is a set of recommendations. It does not, and it is up to the district leadership and the finance manager, of course, to keep an allowance for everything. Let me tell you that there is sufficient flexibility in the budget. We can make reallocations as well. We can reassign things, obviously all with proper approval. So I get some idea about your concern that what if there's a requirement in the middle of the year, or maybe something that is unforeseen, then you can always come up to the district leadership, to the finance manager, and discuss it with them. And we will find a way, if there's an allowable way, we will find a way to reallocate some funds or to make some adjustments to meet that requirement. Just bear one thing in mind, and that is also something that we went through last year. What we will have to do for one area, we'll have to allow for all areas. Same goes for divisions, same goes for clubs. So sometimes your request or suggestion may not be carried out. That will be only because we don't have the room at the district level to carry that out. Those are some of the governing principles, but rest assured that the more precise your area success plan will be, the more precise the division plan will be, and the more precise the district success plan will be. And trust me, it's not it's not as strict or as lacking flexibility as you may think. Things can always be adjusted at the right forum with the right approvals, and you can always give feedback. It's not as if that you just gave feedback at the time of area success plan, and then for the rest of the year you cannot say anything. You can at least approach any of the district leadership with your request, with your suggestion, and we can find a way, if we all agree on it, we can find a way to carry it out. So, okay, any more questions?
I don't see area director Kashif, and we have not kicked him out.
No.
He's
Actually,
back,
I
he's
believe
joining again. So if any of you is wondering because he asked a question, we kicked him out, no, that did not happen.
Yeah, Kashif will testify to that, I'm sure.
No, okay, Digintala, I have a question specifically to you that areas need to wants to have some training for mentors. So will we communicating to you via the area success plan, or we can come to you without area success plan, because we haven't submitted the area success plan yet. So what should be the procedure in that? And second question to you is that we have calculated this form, attendance form 3 times. So we are supposed to do all the 3 times, or 1 time will be enough?
Okay, to answer your first question, no, you only have to do it 1 time. And in fact, I would prefer if you do it 1 time, otherwise it will just inflate the figures and put me in trouble, like yesterday's attendance form, because somehow there are more than 80 responses, but I'll have to sort them out. For your second question, first of all, yes, and that is also one of the dilemmas that I believe was there behind Area Director Kashif's question. You cannot exactly predict what you will need during the entire year. You can just make an estimate. So that's all you're required to do. Okay, build enough flexibility into your area success plan to allow you to change tactics during the year. Always be in consultation with your clubs, with your area councils. And as far as your area success plan is concerned, you're free to make any changes. Just notify it to your division director. And if it is significant enough, usually it's not, but if it's significant enough, maybe that can trigger a change or an update in the district success plan as well. Secondly, as far as your trainings are concerned, as I said yesterday as well, all the district leaders, be they area directors or division directors, are free to conduct any trainings within their district. And in fact, if it's not built into the area success plan, that alone is not a ground for it not being carried out. We are always there for the training. All you need to do is to intimate the program quality director and the district leadership that you want to conduct this training. And whether you want any resources or whether you have resources, you just have to share a skeleton program when you want to carry it out. That's pretty much it. Like it's not a proven process, sort of, although yes, in the rules it is written that all the trainings are in the ambit of a program quality director. So obviously, I need to be familiar with the content and the materials that you're using. But in reality, all the units, be they areas or divisions, they have complete freedom as long as they inform me in advance about what they plan to do and whether they need any help. So I believe your question is answered.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Sorry, Tala, I got disconnected, and I just want to thank Vinay for clarifying the whole situation. So now we have got a better understanding of how the process works. And I asked this question specifically so that every single person gets a better understanding of the whole process, and the clarity is very important. So thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Vinay, for clarifying everything. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, Kashif, you got disconnected, and we spent the duration. In fact, Zunair spent the duration clarifying to everyone that we were not the ones taking you out. You got disconnected yourself. So thank you for clarifying that. And during your absence, I made a brief addition that you can always reach out to the district leadership if you have any proposals, any initiatives or suggestions. And we will find a way, if we agree to it, we will find a way to adjust that in the budget. Just keep in mind that whatever we do, we'll have to do it on the district-wide level. So what we do for one area, we'll have to do it for all areas. And sometimes when we find ourselves unable to accept a request or maybe fully provide for a request, the reason would be that we were bounded by our boundaries, which dictate us that we need to have a consistent treatment for all the areas and all the divisions. So anyone else, any more questions?
Actually, one of my requests was put down by you when I asked for dinner vouchers. So maybe since the finance manager is here, I can put that again.
Actually, I did not put it down. I redirected it to finance manager. I can even show you the WhatsApp text. So
it's on a lighter note.
Yeah, I know. No worries. No worries. But yeah, finance manager will be answering that. Will you, Toastmaster?
Food vouchers are not allowed.
No, but during the last training, we had a nice lunch.
That
when we had in-person training, we had beautiful lunch that was served. So I thought maybe we can get compensated for that.
This time we will have virtual lunch.
Yes.
No, actually, we have arranged for lunch to be served at all your respective homes. Just move on to your dining table and you'll find that either the lunch is being prepared or in the process of being served.
Many of us are going to have a brunch, not lunch.
Yeah.
I have one more question. That it is about the sponsorship. if we are looking for a sponsorship from other like corporate organizations, so what's the procedure for it? And before getting in that sponsorship, what we need to do, who we should inform to?
What do you mean by sponsorship? Like for an event?
Like for an event or a contest, if we are looking for a sponsorship from someone, a corporate organization, what we should do? Are we allowed to do it, or we have to take approval before taking the sponsorship? Because I guess there should be some guidance from Toastmasters International about that.
Okay, so as far as sponsorship is concerned, there's nothing stopping it, number one. But obviously, the sponsorship that you're seeking should be aligned with the Toastmasters mission, right? And secondly, if you're holding a contest, as long as it's not a draw on any of the district resources, you can hold an event. Obviously, all events are also in the purview of the district trio. So the event's agenda and the plan should be shared with the district PO in advance. But if it's sort of a convention, a sort of area gathering, I don't see any harm. And all the areas will get specific allowances for training for various heads in the budget. So as long as you're fulfilling that requirement from somewhere else with sponsorship, I believe that's okay. But I think if there's a different interpretation from the finance manager or district director, maybe they can add.
I would like to add on that. One thing that all of us need to understand that the legal bodies that exist within Toastmasters are club is a body, district is a body, and world headquarters is a legal body. The ones in the mid are not legal bodies. So areas and divisions are extension of the district. All of you are district officers, right? You of course you have different geographical boundaries or areas, but you are all areas and divisions are all part of the district. So districts can raise funds, clubs can raise funds for their activities, for their websites, for their annual conference, or any of the activities that they want to do. Yes, there are bylaws that govern them. So when you want to, for example, area contest. Now, area contest is a district event. And when I say district, it doesn't mean that it belongs to district trio or in any way district trio controls it. All of us are a district. So area contest, division contest, district contest, all of these are district events. And for district events, we can raise funds. And frankly, right now, the kind of funds that we might have, they will be limited as compared to what we would want to do, particularly if things are good and everything is happening in person. And we might have to get some form of sponsorship to make our whatever plans that we have for them to come true. So when you are planning all of these events, when we reach a stage where we have area contests and debate contests being planned, all of us can then sit together and plan collectively so that we can get the best benefit out of the activities. Also, we would want that all of these events are at par, and we would not want certain events not to be of the same level as other events are. So we would want that all of these events are amazing. We would want some kind of wonderful support for all of these events, and we might have to go out and raise funds. But what we don't want is to cannibalize each other or diminish the brand. So for that, when we reach that stage, we can definitely get into discussion. If you have some plans or something, some leads, you can share those with us, and then we can have a collective plan of how we are going to get the best out of that funding source that is available. But again, getting us involved does not mean that you need to seek permission. We are all part of a team. So when you are planning something, get us involved so that we can assist you and we can get the best that we can out of that situation. That is something that I would like to clarify to everyone. So yes, for events we would like to have sponsorship, but let's get together and discuss whenever we have a plan of what kind of funding will be available, how will be, what kind of things we will be buying, what kind of recognition tools we will be using, certificates, banners, shields, and everything. Because since these are district events, they have to be reflected within the district's budget. So when we there will be a profit loss account generated monthly and quarterly, and it will be submitted to Toastmasters International. All of the sponsorship that we have received for area level events, the VN level or district level events, they will also form part of the revenues, and all the expenses will be mentioned. So whenever you are planning all of these activities, get the finance manager involved and the other district officers involved, so that we can all plan these events, assist you in your area level events, and of course get the best facilities for our members.
Okay, I believe that is a pretty comprehensive explanation. Thank you, DTM Zunair, for that. So, any further questions? Okay, so I believe if there are no questions, we can move on to the conclusion. And I'm delighted to inform you that I have planned a 35-minute conclusion speech. No, I'm just kidding. So, so first of all, again, sincere thanks for all of you who attended. Sincere thanks to all the facilitators today. Sincere thanks to Zubair for taking up DTM Alikumair's session for youth craft and speech. I always mix up the two, speech craft and youth leadership. So, and again, Toastmaster Adnan, for your, I never thought that people would be so interested in a session about finance. We are all chartered accountants, so it's usual for us, but it was your success that you got people interested in finance. So congratulations to you. Congratulations to DTM Atif Irfan for once again an inspiring session. And Zaid is not here, but again, a very, very good session. I believe we all learned tremendously today, and that's the beauty of Toastmaster. When you're training, when you're facilitating, when you're arranging an event, it's not about teaching something to others, it's about learning together with others. So I'll finish on a quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, when, and my question would be, how will we achieve the status of #1 district in the world, inshallah, by end of this year? How will we achieve Smedley's Distinguished Award? How we will show the world, and how did we show the world in the past year? In fact, the district that beat us to the #1 status was actually the richest district in the world in terms of financial stability. And we really gave them a run for their money, thanks to most of the people who are present here, because all of you contributed in that. And even during the last days, you won't believe how many people were refreshing their distinguished, the dashboard like crazy to see where we had gotten. And the most beautiful thing is that when we got to Smedley's Distinguished, it was not me who actually found out first. I received a message from the region advisor of Region 12. She is Gauri Susadri, a very, very good friend. And she wrote a simple line, "Congratulations, you guys are Smedley Distinguished." So that's how closely people were monitoring. And I was receiving messages from fellow CGDs that, you know, Express Toastmasters need to get to Distinguished, and I believe Ravi Toastmasters need to get to Distinguished. Let's see who makes it first. I'm talking about the last days before we get to Smedley Distinguished. So they were monitoring us on the club level. And unknown to us, we have become an inspiration for the world in terms of online adoption, in terms of growth, in terms of achieving our targets. So I believe that was a very, very honorable #2 position that we got. Even if we didn't get #1, by all means, we were #1 because we got the most attention from throughout the Toastmasters community. So how will we achieve the #1 status this year? How will we achieve another Smedley Distinguished Award? How will we get to district status or provisional district status? The answer is, as per, I believe it was Thor who said it, or maybe Captain America, I'm not sure. The answer is together. So with that, I thank all of you, sincerely grateful for your participation. Let's wave each other goodbye as we end this meeting. Thank you so much, everyone.